Chapter 1420. The tattoo was more painful than Feng Ci had imagined. The main reason was that the method of tattooing was different from what he knew. It was a very ancient method. After the tattoo was completed, Shi Shang let him rest for a while before calling the elders in. After a series of strange actions, he was finally allowed to leave the altar. Congratulations, young Master Feng Ci. The oldest of the elders stood up and lowered his eyes. I wish you and the family head a long life together. What's there to wish? Feng Ci felt strange, but he didn't say anything. He didn't want to talk to these people. Sorry to trouble you, elders. Shi Shang answered on behalf of Feng Ci. His tone gave them goosebumps, and they hurriedly bid farewell to Shi Shang. This is our duty. You don't have to be so polite. If there's nothing else, we'll take our leave. Shi Shang nodded slightly, indicating for them to leave. It was only later that Feng Ci found out that the tattoo wasn't like what she said, that everyone who entered the Shi family would have to get it. With that tattoo, it meant that she would only have him for the rest of her life. Even if he was no longer around, she couldn't be with anyone else. This kind of tattoo was a very respectable existence in the Shi family. No one would easily choose to be alone in their life. Of course, this was a story for later. At this moment, Feng Ci was lifting his shirt and looking at the lifelike silver tattoo on his waist. It was very painful just now, but now it didn't hurt at all. The tattoo seemed to have been on his waist since birth. It was impossible to tell that it was tattooed. Shi Shang put down his shirt. Go back and take a look. Lifting his shirt in public? Asking for a beating. Yu Chong prepared a lot of food. She might have asked Shi Feng, but most of them were Feng Ci's favorite. It was rare that Feng Ci wasn't picky and even praised Yu Chong. This meal could be considered to be a satisfying one. Caesar took a long time to prepare. Shi Shang and Feng Ci waited for 3 days before he left the room. Shi Shang asked Shi Feng to go in and check. After confirming that there was nothing strange, he personally checked again. Little Shang, I won't harm you. Caesar followed behind Shi Shang. When I was installing it, your men were watching from the side. Your Zhanlong guards were there, so I didn't dare to do anything. Shi Shang walked around the 2 transparent cabins in the middle. If you want to tamper with it, will the Zhanlong guards find out? I swear, if I did anything, you can punish me however you want. You swear as easily as eating. Caesar, don't you know that life is difficult, don't you? You won't have any friends like this. Well, she didn't have any friends anyway. Hey, little Shang, how did you turn Feng Ci from a big pervert into a little lamb? Caesar shifted the topic of gossip to Feng Ci. Just as he finished speaking, a force quickly rushed over from the side. He didn't even have the chance to dodge and was directly sent flying, crashing into the wall of the room. Caesar got up with an ashen face and looked at the door. The young man stood in the light, and the emotions on his face could not be seen clearly. However, from the vicious aura he was exuding, it was enough to imagine what his face was like. The young man slightly raised his hand and pulled in the air, and Caesar's body was sent flying to the side. Little Shang, Caesar shouted. Tell him to stop. Serves him right. Shi Shang coldly replied with 2 words. Caesar, what kind of morality is this? He attacked without saying anything. Was it easy for him? Who could understand his grievances? He really wanted to cry. Feng Ci really wanted to kill Caesar. In the end, Shi Shang stopped him, and Caesar barely managed to keep his life. Caesar was on the verge of tears and snot. He pointed at the 2 transparent cabins and said in a hoarse voice, Just lie in there. Before you guys come out, the Zhanlong guards will guard this place until you guys complete the assessment, as you said. What's the ratio of time flow? It can be ignored. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes. The ratio of time flow in every spacetime is different. Are you trying to scare I? Caesar felt humiliated. Do you think the space administration is useless? If you don't even have this ability, why are you called the space administration? Heh, if you're so arrogant, Why don't you do it yourself? Why are you looking for me? Caesar, I won't lower myself to your level. Shi Shang called Shi Fong in and ordered him to guard this place. Are you ready? Shi Shang looked at Feng Ci. Feng Ci nodded. Shi Shang opened the transparent cabin and let Feng Ci lie in. Caesar limped over to operate it. A few people from the Space Administration wanted to come over, but they were frightened by Feng Ci's murderous aura. It's okay. Just wait for me. Shi Shang comforted Feng Ci. Only then did Feng Ci's murderous aura slowly fade away. All the procedures were ready. Caesar said, I'll give you 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'll come in and close the cabin door. He waved his hand and signaled for everyone to leave. Only Shi Shang and Feng Ci were left in the room. Shi Shang leaned on the edge of the cabin and stroked Feng Ci's forehead with his fingertips. Feng Ci just looked at him with a faint smile. The two looked at each other like this, as if they wanted to imprint each other in their hearts. In the last 3 minutes, Shi Shang leaned over and pressed his lips against Feng Ci's forehead. He moved his lips down and bit Feng Ci's lips. The tip of his tongue easily pried open Feng Ci's lips and went in, dancing with his tongue. 3, 2, 1. Shi Shang let go of him. Trust me. I'll find you. Feng Ci panted and nodded slightly. I'll wait for you. He didn't want to move. He just wanted to wait for her. No matter where he was, she would come and take him away. When Caesar came in, Shi Shang had already closed the cabin door. The young man's eyes were closed and he was peacefully lying inside like a sleeping beauty. Caesar couldn't help but admit that Feng Ci was King handsome. Shi Shang leaned against the cabin door and looked into the void. His face was cold, but his lips were slightly curved. It seemed like he was laughing, but at the same time, it also seemed like he was mocking Feng Ci. Caesar's heart skipped a beat. I'll continue to follow you and provide you with some help. Are you sure he'll help me? It was good enough that Buttface didn't cause trouble for her. Help. Caesar's expression became serious. We're in the same boat now. Shi Shang looked at him and lay down in the cabin. Caesar hesitated for a moment and asked someone to connect all the data. After checking that there were no problems, he closed the cabin door. The cabin door slowly fell. Just as it was about to close, a voice drifted out from inside. I never admitted that we were in the same boat. Caesar. Why did he suddenly have a bad feeling? The 41st plane ending yes. The pits in the real world will end here. The rest will be filled after the end. The pits that will be filled after the end are as follows. Feng Ci's background. If I say I don't want to fill it, will you beat me to death? Ha ha ha. Shi Shang's background. I can write an extra chapter called Shi Shang's Pitiful Growth Story. Is Xia Chu dead or alive? Caesar Zero Mu buys trump card and Family Feud Xing The 10 Directions. Where will the 6 great families Goth Royal Family The Alliance Red Moon Galaxy? This one doesn't seem to have any pits. Let's put it aside for now. And the girl who didn't have a name at the beginning, but was very awesome. F***CK. Why are there so many pits? I'm so scared. Also, please fill in the other pits. I don't remember any of them. P.S. Let's take a side. Who do you think is the mastermind behind the scenes? Chapter 14:21. Everyone knew that Cheng Shi had fought against at least a dozen best actors and actresses. Is she dead? Did you call 110? Should we take her to the hospital? The driver who caused the accident has run away. What if she blames you for it? Let's wait for the ambulance. The cold rain fell on Shi Shang's face. Her consciousness was a little blurry, and it took her a while to adapt. This feeling was completely different from the virtual world. She would feel uncomfortable when her soul entered someone else's body. Was she going to die again? This was how games were played. Why was it still like this? Can't you let me have a good time? Host, calm down. You'll die easily if you get too excited. The system reminded Shi Shang. You're using someone else's body, so it must be a dead body. You can't enter someone who's not dead yet. So, host, calm down. Calm down my ass. Where's I's sword? Hey, she seems to be moving. She's still alive. Hurry up and take her to the hospital. This is a life. Why are you so indifferent? Aren't you afraid that this girl will come to you after she dies? Perhaps the last sentence scared them, but they hurriedly carried Shi Shang into a car and sent him to the nearest hospital. Because of the timely rescue, Shi Shang was lucky to survive. Shi Shang received the memory of this body when he was recuperating. The original owner was called Cheng Shi, and she was an agent. Cheng Shi studied acting and was once popular. But because of an accident, she had a scar on her forehead. She was short-lived in the entertainment circle and had no chance to enter the entertainment industry. But she didn't give up and turned to other agents. Maybe she was born to be an agent, or maybe it was her hard work. Anyway, Cheng Shi became one of the top people in the company. The most popular agents in the company were Cheng Shi and Shui Yuhe. They were competitors and naturally didn't like each other. They fought for resources. Shui Yuhe had connections with the higher-ups, so she always won. This year, the company was looking for a top manager, and at the same time, she would be promoted to the company's artist director. Shui Yuhe was determined to get this position. However, when she found out that Cheng Shi had gotten the spot and that she had gotten in through the back door, she actually spent money to get people to create fake news, saying that Cheng Shi was unscrupulous in order to get resources. She slept with people, took drugs, and was usually a drug addict. Once the news came out, Cheng Shi was criticized in the industry and was besieged on all sides. The artistes under her had all abandoned her and looked for other branches. Cheng Shi had lost her top manager, and the company had fired her for having an indecent personal life. Cheng Shi was furious, but there was nothing she could do. She wanted to start all over again, but Shui Yuhe didn't leave any room for her. Cheng Shi couldn't even go to other companies. In her days, she was hit by a car and died because she couldn't be saved in time. Shi Shang only had memories and no plot. Therefore, she knew nothing except what had happened to this body. The difficulty of the game had increased. Host, please remember that this is the real world. It has nothing to do with the game. 1. Point. All. Nothing. Yes. Shut up. I don't want to listen to you right now. The system was very angry. Do you think the system is willing to speak? If you don't want to speak, then don't speak. Shi Shang laid on the bed and organized her memories. The original owner's wish was to become the best manager. This wasn't difficult, but her current situation wasn't very good. It was best described as being abandoned by everyone. Feng Ci, she didn't know which corner he was in, waiting for her to save him. She wanted to kill someone. Where's I's sword? Gotcha, gotcha. The flashing lights made Shi Shang come back to her senses. She turned around and looked at the door of the ward. 2 girls were taking pictures of her and pointing at her from time to time. It really is Cheng Shi. This woman is too shameless. She used such dirty methods to steal our sister Xin's resources. She deserves to be hospitalized. Post it on the internet, another girl urged. I'm posting it now. Let me write a headline that will attract people's attention. The 2 girls were staring at the screen and didn't notice that Shi Shang had already walked over. She reached out and took the phones from their hands. Her eyes swept over the headline the girl had written. Chance encounter with Cheng Shi in the hospital. Karma is retribution. Shi Shang raised her eyebrows slightly. Retribution. The woman had a very good-looking face, but the scar on her forehead looked too hideous. It ruined her beauty and was a little ugly. The 2 girls were stunned for a few seconds before they came back to their senses. They wanted to snatch the phone back. Give it back to me. Shi Shang stepped back and raised her arm. The phone drew a beautiful arc in the air and fell out of the window. You. The owner of the phone glared at Shi Shang. What right do you have to throw my phone? Pick it back up. Shi Shang raised the corner of her mouth. There was a smile on her face, but there was no trace of a smile in her eyes. She was frighteningly cold. Then what right do you have to take my picture? So what if I did? The girl said self-righteously. Aren't you just a loose woman? Women like you are the most disgusting. You can even serve such an old man. Are you willing to do anything to get resources? Now is the time to expose women like you. I did throw it away. What's wrong with that? Shi Shang did not seem to hear the latter part of her words. Her expression did not change at all. The girl was so angry that her delicate face flushed red. I'm telling you, if you don't compensate me for my phone today, I won't let you off. I don't know how those men could bear to touch you with your looks. Aren't they afraid of being scared to death? Shi Shang was taller than the two girls. She raised her chin slightly and looked at them disdainfully. Why didn't I scare you to death? The two girls were stunned at the same time. After a while, the girl shouted angrily, Have you no shame? No, Shi Shang said arrogantly. The girl was speechless. This answer was obviously beyond the two girls' comprehension. They were stunned for a while, probably because they had never seen such an arrogant person who admitted that she was shameless. The girl took a deep breath. I don't care if you're shameless or not. Go and pick my phone up. Don't you have hands? Shi Shang rolled her eyes. You threw it. Why can't you pick it up? Go and pick it up and apologize. Otherwise, I won't let you off. Oh, according to what you said, I should cut off your hands for taking photos of me, right? Shi Shang rolled up her sleeves and looked around as if she was looking for a machete. The two girls' expressions changed slightly. They were already in the ward, but now that they had exited, they did not forget to yell, Let me tell you, Cheng Shi, there are many people out there who want to dig up dirt on you. Believe it or not, I just need to make a call and you'll be done for. Shi Shang put her hands on her hips and laughed. Thank you for sending me to the headlines. The two girls were speechless. The first game after changing the mode was basically a dungeon. Shi Shang had to figure out the rules first, so the most awesome part was yet to come. Chapter 14:22. I've never seen a woman as shameless as you. The girl probably couldn't find the right words to describe Shi Shang. Now I have. Shi Shang took out the phone with a broken screen from the pocket of his hospital gown and skillfully pressed a button. Call the police if you need help. Hello, this is room 12 on the 3rd floor of the inpatient department of Tongren Hospital. Someone verbally attacked me and caused me a lot of trauma. If I commit suicide, it will be their fault. The girl seemed to be shocked. She stepped forward and picked up the phone that Shi Shang had placed beside her ear. The phone fell to the ground and was completely broken into pieces. The girl stepped on it angrily and said, What are you talking about? What does it have to do with us if you commit suicide? Shi Shang looked at the broken phone and smiled mischievously. Now, not only do you have to compensate me for my mental trauma, you have to compensate me for my phone too. Every problem that could be solved with money was not a problem. Problems that couldn't be solved with money were solved with guns. What? The two girls thought that they were hallucinating. She threw their phones away first, and now she dared to ask them to pay for it? She was crazy. It turned out that this woman was not only crazy, but also completely crazy. There was a police station near the hospital. After Shi Shang called the police, they quickly sent someone over to ask about what had happened. Shi Shang was in charge of the situation. She told the two girls that they had taken photos of her without her consent and even tried to post them on the internet. They had violated her image rights and reputation rights, verbally attacked her, and even hit her. The two girls were stunned. Did this happen? Shi Shang said it in a serious manner. The police would have their own judgment after checking the surveillance footage. The two girls were in the wrong for disturbing the patient first. After the police confirmed what had happened, they asked the two girls to apologize to Shi Shang. Most people would restrain themselves in front of the police, and the two girls were no exception. Before the police arrived, there were not many onlookers outside. Once the police arrived, there were more onlookers. The two girls stood there with red faces and were in a stalemate, unwilling to apologize. At this moment, there was a commotion outside the door, and there seemed to be a scream. A woman wearing sunglasses came in. When the owner of the phone saw the woman, her eyes lit up. Cousin. After the assistant beside the woman came in, she immediately closed the door to block the commotion outside. Coupe Sheen took off her sunglasses, revealing an exquisitely made-up face. However, she glanced at the two girls impatiently. What's wrong with you two? Cousin, this woman bullied me, threw my mobile phone and complained first. She asked me to apologize to her. You have to make a decision for me. The girl immediately grabbed Coupe Sheen and complained. Who are you? The policeman in charge didn't seem to recognize the person and asked with a frown. Coupe Sheen had a surprised look on her face, as if she didn't know who she was. This is my cousin, Coupe Sheen. She's the hottest celebrity right now. Don't you know her? You can often see my cousin on TV. The girl was very pleased with herself and even looked at Shi Shang provocatively. Her cousin was here. Let's see if you can still be so arrogant. Shi Shang sneered. Coupe Sheen, the most popular starlet, was also the artist that Shui Yuha was currently supporting. Most of the resources in the hands of the original host had been snatched away by Shui Yuha and given to Coupe Sheen. It would be unreasonable if Coupe Sheen was still not popular. Managers didn't like each other and artists didn't like each other's managers. Coupe Sheen was also responsible for the original host's current situation. The policeman in charge of the case didn't buy it at all. What starlet? Don't interfere with our work. They were so busy working on the case that they didn't have time to care about celebrities. Even the pickpockets on the street were much more familiar than these celebrities. Coupe Sheen was embarrassed by the policeman, but she was an artist and couldn't lose her temper. Besides, she was in front of the policeman, so she could only hold it in. What did my cousin do to deserve an apology from a woman like her? Coupe Sheen looked at Shi Shang. Shi Shang didn't hold back and gave her a teasing smile. Coupe Sheen narrowed her eyes. How could this woman still laugh? Are you her cousin? The policeman asked. Coupe Sheen looked away and nodded her noble head. The policeman wrote 2 lines on the record and said in a professional tone, just in time. Discipline her in the future. This is a hospital. She broke into the ward, took photos of the patient and even had a conflict with the patient. It's fine if nothing happened, but what if the patient has a heart attack? Will you be responsible for it? Apologize now and pay for the patient's phone. Do you have any objections? Coupe Sheen seemed to have heard something unbelievable. Do you know who she is? I don't care who she is. The policeman was a bit impatient. Your child was in the wrong first. What's wrong with apologizing to the victim? Coupe Sheen. No, cousin. She's the one who's talking nonsense. She threw my phone away first. That's why I had a conflict with her. If there's a mistake, it's her fault. Perhaps it was because she had a backer. The girl's confidence was obviously a lot stronger. If you didn't take photos of her, she would have thrown your phone away. The policeman reminded her with a straight face. This is a hospital and she is a patient. Even ordinary people had the right to privacy, not to mention patients who needed to rest. Coupe Sheen looked back and forth between Shi Shang and the policeman. Was this woman in cahoots with the policeman? No matter what, this was a public place and there were so many people outside. If she made any news here, it would be very bad for her. After weighing the pros and cons, Coupe Sheen patted the girl's shoulder under the impatient gaze of the policeman. Sheen, apologize first. Cousin? Coupe Sheen looked over. The girl immediately stomped her feet angrily and glared at Shi Shang. I'm sorry. Why should she apologize? She had taken photos of her because her cousin always said that she was abominable. She subconsciously took photos when she saw her, but now she was being asked to apologize? Why? Shi Shang didn't say anything. The policeman took it as a yes and asked Coupe Sheen to pay for Shi Shang's phone. The phone was of a mediocre brand and only cost 2,000 yuan. Coupe Sheen didn't care about this small amount of money. She would deal with her slowly after she left the hospital. Coupe Sheen wanted to pay the money directly, but Shi Shang didn't want it. She could only ask her assistant to go out and buy a new phone. Cheng Shi, just you wait. Shi Shang looked up at Ku Pei Xin while he was unwrapping the phone. He said in a strange tone, "I'm so scared." Ku Pei Xin wasn't very smart. If it weren't for Shui Yuha's help and her pretty face, she wouldn't have been able to climb to her current position. What was there to be afraid of? She could kill this kind of person in minutes. Host, this is the real world. Not the virtual world, no. Asterisk appearance. Police. Chapter 1423. Popular actress appears in hospital, suspected to be pregnant. Before Ku Pei Xin could figure out how to deal with Shi Shang, something had happened to her. It wouldn't have been a big deal if that was all, but there were a few other recent news articles about her going to a hotel with a man late at night. Although it had been clarified that it was the crew's fault, the fact that she went to the hospital seemed to be the truth. Ku Pei Xin called her agent immediately. "Hello, Sister Shui, what should I do now?" Shui Yuha questioned her. "Why did you go to the hospital? Why didn't you tell me?" Ku Pei Xin paused. "I went to see a friend." Shui Yuha was obviously angry. "You are a star. Why would you go see a friend? Do you know how many articles will be written about you going to the hospital? Haven't I taught you what a star should do and shouldn't do?" "I'm sorry, Sister Shui. I know I was wrong." Ku Pei Xin apologized immediately. She could only admit defeat. Talking back to Shui Yuha would only make her angrier. Shui Yuha scolded her for being brainless. Ku Pei Xin could only listen and apologize. When Shui Yuha was done scolding her, she gave her a solution. "Don't show up. The company will deal with it. If this happens again, don't blame me for not helping you. You better reflect on yourself." Ku Pei Xin hung up with a sour expression. If her cousin hadn't called for help and said that Cheng Shi was there, she wouldn't have gone, but she wasn't pregnant. What was there to be afraid of? Thinking of this, Ku Pei Xin calmed down a lot. Shi Shang looked at the latest news. Ku Pei Xin's suspected pregnancy was a big deal, but Shui Yuha quickly clarified that Ku Pei Xin wasn't pregnant and that she had gone to the hospital to see a friend. They even posted a picture of her and her friend. The background was the hospital and her friend was indeed wearing a hospital gown. The news died down a little. Then Shui Yuha's company, Mingyi Entertainment, released an announcement that Du Yeyuan had taken on the role of the male lead in the TV series God of Heaven. Who was Du Yeyuan? He was the most famous actor in the world. Once his news came out, Ku Pei Xin's news was naturally overshadowed. Shi Shang's fingertips moved gently until he couldn't pull it anymore. The TV series, Deity, was a very popular novel IP. Not long ago, it was rumored that the TV series was in preparation. The director was also a famous director in the circle. After that, people from all walks of life had their eyes on this TV series. Before the original owner was kicked out of the company, she had an artist under her management. She originally wanted to fight for this artist. In a TV series with such a big director, the female lead would definitely not be chosen, so the host planned to fight for the second female lead. But before she could even start preparing for it, something happened and that artist abandoned her very quickly. The host wanted to be an awesome manager. She wasn't worried about getting the role. She just had to threaten them. If it didn't work, she would just throw money at them. The most important thing now was, she didn't have any artists. How could a commander without an army fight? Forget it. Let's make money first. If she didn't make money now, by the time she found Feng Ci, with the speed at which he spent money, she would have to eat dirt again. Shi Shang took the original owner's savings. The original owner had made a lot of money in the past few years, but because of what happened a few days ago, she squandered most of it. So now, the only thing she had left was a house. Shi Shang mortgaged the house and took a loan from the bank as the principal. Ku Pei Xin had suffered a loss because of her, so she naturally wouldn't let her go. She joined forces with Shui Yuha to continue slandering her. Shi Shang occasionally glanced at it, but only treated it as entertainment. For someone like her who had seen all kinds of big scenes, how could she be scared by something like this? Lai Lai Bei Fong Liang. Why don't people like her just die? It's really disgusting. It's because of people like her that there are so many talented stars who can't make it big. UZ. She could even survive a car accident. She really is a scourge. 1,000 miles away. Aren't you guys being too disrespectful? Unforgettable. Human? Of course we respect people, but is she even human? Look at all the things she has done. She slept with others to get resources. In order to climb up the social ladder, she framed her colleagues. For the sake of her own artiste, she even defamed other artistes. Cheng Shivi, I'm sorry for making you guys worry. Why don't I see you guys worrying about your ancestral grave? As soon as Shishang's Weibo post came out, the first thing he saw was a row of ellipses, followed by all kinds of abuse. Black magpie flying south. Xiaoming, get out of here. Ku Xingyun. F***CK. She had never seen such a shameless manager. She was disgusting. She would be blacklisted for life. Shishang clicked on the attached photo. It was an emoticon of hers. She had no idea where the photo was taken, but it happened to show the scar on her forehead. The caption was, I'm ugly, I'm just shameless. Cheng Shivi, I'm the only one in the family. If you feel embarrassed for me, why don't you die for me? Below it was another row of ellipses. She had probably never seen a manager who didn't care about her image and fought with others like this. That's not right. Now that she was no longer a manager, was she planning to let go of herself? Shishang, who had let go of his ego, put down his phone, turned on his computer, and started his boring work. So what were you doing just now? To save my crazy self. How are you saving yourself? You're driving the netizens crazy. Yao Yao Ling will come and catch you, you know. Shishang's daily routine was to fight against anti-fans, let loose, eat, sleep, play games, and make money. Listen to this, damn, making money is all in passing. Shishang had stayed at home for more than half a year. She had built a deep friendship with her anti-fans. Normal anti-fans would start scolding her as soon as they saw her. Her anti-fans came right up to her. Should I fight or not? When was he going to do that? Are you done yet? When are you going to come online? Did you oversleep again? Can't you be on time? Can't you be more professional? Don't want to see. I guess she won't come online until 12 o'clock today. Yesterday, I saw her fooling around until 3 o'clock in the morning. That girl was so badly scolded. Sunset. She's really pitiful. Naturally disillusioned. She's really pitiful plus 10086 helplessness. Is this girl doubting life right now? Between the clouds. She hasn't worked for more than half a year. How come she hasn't starved to death? I'm curious how she's so strong and survived until now. Cheng Shi V. Cultivation. The netizens. Cultivation? What kind of cultivation? Asterisk hashtag today. I'm looking for votes hashtag double monthly votes. Can you guys work harder? Hashtag. Chapter 1424. Shishang interacted with the haters while instructing the taxi driver to stop in front of a building. After getting out of the car, she turned on the camera and took a picture of the building before posting it on Weibo. Chengxi, blue sky and white clouds, murder and arson. Picture, Luoyang. Damn, are you going to bomb Xionging Film and Television? Hua Feixue. Isn't today the press conference for God of Heaven? It seems to be held at Xionging Film and Television. What is she going to do there? Little brother. Who is Hua Feixue? How could ancient poets be so filthy? Woo woo woo. Zhang Xian will jump up and beat you to death. Compared to the sun, you guys are going off topic. The internet was in an uproar. Shishang browsed for a while before putting away her phone and walking casually to Xionging Film and Television. At this time, there were many reporters outside Xionging Film and Television. The casting for God of Heaven had been dragging on for half a year and was finally going to be announced today. They were all small reporters who were not invited and could only wait outside. Although Shi Shang did not appear in public for the past half a year, she was active on the internet like a fake account. Therefore, when she appeared, people noticed her. Hey, isn't that Cheng Shi? What is she doing here? She has been fired for a long time and should not have any artists under her. Who knows what she is doing here? I am very convinced that she can still fight with the netizens after that incident and most importantly, win. I heard that she can fight back until you start to doubt your life. I wonder if it's true. Go to her Weibo and you will know. A reporter took a picture of Shi Shang and posted it on Weibo. Who knew that the replies he received were all "I knew it. It's already on the hot search list, do you still need to tell me, you guys are not professional," and so on. The reporter was dumbfounded. He clicked on the hot search list and saw that it was updated 10 minutes ago. Number 16 was, "Blue sky and white clouds, murder and arson." How many haters did Cheng Shi have? She must have spent money. The reporter clicked on the homepage that he had not seen for a long time and suddenly realized that this manager's fans had exceeded 7 figures. Damn, 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 damn. Shi Shang walked past the group of reporters. The security guard took a look at the things she handed over and quickly let her pass. The reporters started to doubt their lives. This person, who had been silent for half a year, had found his backer and made a comeback? Shi Shang stepped into Xiongyin Film and Television. There was a group of people in the lobby, who seemed to have come in from the back door. They were being escorted to the elevator. The two sides met in the lobby. Shi Shang glanced at them calmly and walked to the elevator first. What is she doing here? Ku Peixin grabbed the woman next to her, surprised and angry. The woman was in her 30s and was dressed professionally. She looked very capable and had the appearance of a strong woman. This was Shui Yuhe. At first, Shui Yuhe and Ku Peixin tried to smear Shi Shang's reputation. But later, they realized that they didn't need to do so. Moreover, she wasn't going to appear again, so they didn't bother about her anymore. Anyway, it was impossible for her to return to this circle. Who knew that they would see her so unexpectedly at such an important time today? Shui Yuhe turned to look at the staff and pointed at the Shi Shang. What's wrong with you guys? Why did you let just anyone in? Shui Yuhe didn't go up to Shi Shang directly. This was someone else's territory, so it was better to let them handle it. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes. This Shui Yuhe was very smart. The staff glanced at Shi Shang. He probably knew her and knew her reputation. He immediately shouted at the security guards behind him, "Why did you let her in? Is this a place where she can come in? Hurry up and take him out." The security guards behind him heard him and immediately stepped forward. Just then, the elevator opened. Shi Shang dashed in and pressed the button to close the door. The security guards were some distance away from her, so they didn't stop her. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and find her." The staff shouted at the security guards who were a little confused. Shui Yuhe's face was dark. The staff smiled and promised that they wouldn't let Shi Shang cause trouble. Shi Shang looked at the number jumping up and down. Finally, it stopped at the 16th floor. Today's press conference was held on the 16th floor, so there were many people coming and going. Shi Shang kept a low profile, so no one noticed her at the moment. Shi Shang looked around but couldn't find her. He took out his phone and called her. The call went through immediately. "Where are you?" She replied quickly, "Sister Cheng Shi, there's a traffic jam. I'm still on my way." "Ah, will I be late? Has the press conference started?" "Shi Shang, how far are you?" "About 15 minutes. Come over." Shi Shang hung up. He didn't hear the wailing on the other side. She had done a lot of work in the past 6 months. She had been at the film studio for half a month before she found a promising artist. No, it was just a little girl who played a small role. She was still studying, came from an ordinary family, and was as beautiful as a rose. She was passionate and loved acting. She was talented and could draw inferences from one example. Even though she was just a small role, she was very serious about it. Although her acting skills were inexperienced, she would definitely become popular in the future. Shi Shang didn't have the plot to help her, so she could only rely on her own judgment. If she chose the right one, she would soar to the top. If she chose the wrong one, she would have to start all over again. She was really casual. Shi Shang found a staff member and handed over the information. After the staff member verified it, she was brought backstage. Wait here first. The press conference will start in half an hour. Tell your artist to hurry up. She's just a supporting actress. The staff member's tone was a little disdainful. Everyone in the industry knew about Cheng Shi's reputation. Who knew how she got the role? The staff member left the room after saying that. There were still some people in the room who had been pointing at her since she came in. She's Cheng Shi. I really don't know what her face is made of. How dare she come out to manage an artist? The artist who follows her is really unlucky. Shi Shang glanced at the people in the room and pulled a chair over to sit down. He crossed his legs and said, "If you have anything to say it out loud. I'll pardon you." Everyone, was this person really crazy? Pardon you? Did he think he was an emperor? Being a Chunibyu was still an illness. It had to be treated. It was fine if Shi Shang ignored them, but now that he was so blatantly asking them to speak, they really didn't dare to say anything. Thus, they turned around and talked to the people around them. These people could be said to be important or not, and could be said to be unimportant or unimportant. They weren't the main cast, so they didn't have the guts to challenge Shi Shang. Bang! The door suddenly opened and a few security guards appeared at the door. They looked around the room and strode toward Shi Shang. They said in a tough tone, "Miss, please leave." "Why?" Shi Shang asked calmly. The security guards, she actually asked them why. "You barged in without permission. We're already giving you face by not throwing you out. Don't make things difficult for everyone. Please leave. This is not a place where you can come. Asterisk, this is a fake group." Shi Shang, I heard that you guys want to throw me out? Cherub, who said that? Kill them. Iron Sword, kill them. Security guards, spare us. We're just following orders. We'll give you all the tickets. We'll give you all the tickets. Chapter 14:25. Everyone's curiosity was piqued, but the next second, they realized something was wrong. Didn't the staff say that she had an artist? In order not to be implicated, everyone stepped aside and left the main battlefield to them. Shi Shang looked at the security guards calmly. "Why can't I be here? Is there a notice saying that Cheng Shi can't enter?" The security guards were speechless. The higher-ups said to throw her out, so she definitely wasn't qualified to be here. The security guards gave Shi Shang a look and were about to drive him away. Today was an important day. If they messed it up, they might lose their jobs. Shi Shang wouldn't let them succeed. He easily avoided them and knocked them down. Everyone was speechless. Did he go to the martial arts class? What's going on? The press conference is about to start. What are you doing here? Don't you have anything better to do? There was a sudden scolding outside and a few people came in. The person who had brought Shi Shang in was also there. His face darkened when he saw the security guards lying on the ground. "What are you doing here?" The security guard clutched his stomach and pointed at Shi Shang with a trembling finger. She sneaked in. Xiao Wang told us to throw her out, but she hit people." The staff member listened to the story. Although he didn't like Shi Shang, he still explained, "She brought an artist here. The people outside let her in. Don't you know how to verify? All right, get out of here." The security guards looked at each other for a moment, then hurriedly got up from the ground and left the room. The staff member didn't apologize. Instead, he scolded the people outside and left. Shi Shang reached out and pulled the chair back. He sat back down and played with his phone as if nothing had happened. Everyone was impressed by his calmness. If they had encountered such a situation, even if they hadn't quarreled, they wouldn't have let it go. But on second thought, with her current reputation, there was nothing wrong with keeping the peace. Outside the door, Shui Yuhe looked inside with cold eyes. She had brought an artist here. Shui Yuhe stopped the staff member who was about to leave. The staff member's expression changed immediately. Sister Shui, you're here. Your lounge is over there. There's still a while before the press conference starts. You can rest first. Shui Yuhe nodded and asked casually, "Why is Cheng Shi here?" The staff member smiled and said, "Oh, she managed a small artist and was chosen as the fourth female lead. I don't know who got her in through the back door." Artist? She could even manage an artist? Who in this industry would still want to work with her? I heard that the little artist hasn't graduated yet. She won't amount to much. The staff member told Shui Yuhe everything he knew. By the time Shui Yuhe left, she had already learned a lot about the little artist that Shi Shang was managing. She immediately felt relieved. Cheng Shi V. The security guards of Xiangying Film and Television are very cute. Your company probably didn't pay them IQ tax. IQ is a good thing. I suggest your company not be so stingy. At Xiangying Film, Shi Shang's Weibo post, together with her previous post, immediately pushed Xiangying Pictures to the top of the hot search list. Originally, Xiangying Pictures was the focus of everyone's attention today. If an ordinary person had tagged them, they might not have noticed. But this was Cheng Shi, the Cheng Shi who spent all day arguing with anti-fans online. In the process of arguing with each other, she could write a 1 million-word romance novel. Don't underestimate the power of anti-fans. When they unite, they are much more powerful than true fans. Su hang 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 hang. Oh, Cheng Shi went to Xiangying Pictures again. Half-Life madness. You didn't even let the security guards off. You're crazy. Xiang Ritian, she went to Xiangying Pictures today just to argue with the security guards? Why do I feel that the big move is coming up? Xiaoming, get out of here. I'll wait. The anti-fans calmly analyzed why Shi Shang went to Xiangying Pictures. Some even said that she went there to carry out a terrorist attack. This time, Ku Peixin was the female lead. Since Shi Shang was kicked out of the company, Ku Peixin and her manager benefited the most. These two people were probably the ones that she hated the most. Cheng Shi V. I'm a good citizen who abides by the law. I don't care about terrorist attacks. Everyone. There was nothing wrong with the first sentence, but what did she mean by, you don't care about terrorist attacks? Was she looking down on Xiangying Pictures or the law? There was no response from Xiangying Pictures. They probably didn't know what was going on and didn't dare to say anything. When Shi Shang's artist arrived, she had already fought 300 rounds on the internet and defeated all the anti-fans. She put her phone back into her pocket and looked up at the young girl who was panting. The young girl was bright and energetic. Her hair was tied up behind her head and she was dressed casually. She looked like a college student. What's the use of this? She was here for a press conference, not a sports meet. Shi Shang looked at her with disdain. You came dressed like this? The young girl looked at herself while panting. Sister Cheng Shi, is there anything wrong with that? Shi Shang smiled. At which press conference did you see a girl dressed like you? The young girl thought about it and her face fell. But I'm poor. Didn't I send you a gown? I haven't opened it yet. The young girl looked regretful and looked at Shi Shang helplessly. I had class that day and forgot about it when I went back. Sister Cheng Shi, what should I do now? Shi Shang face-bombed. She should have found a has-been star. This kind of poor girl who didn't know anything was the CEO's cup of tea. Shi Shang took a deep breath and posted on Weibo on his phone. Cheng Shi, which cutie can help me send a gown to Xiangying Studio in 10 minutes? I'll give you a chance to see me in person. Picture of this gown. As soon as the post was posted, there were people who were waiting for a good show. Of course, there were also people who nodded at the girl in Shi Shang's picture. The young girl was very good-looking. She leaned against a tree and looked up at the sky, revealing her perfect side profile. Sister Cheng Shi, what should I do now? The young girl looked at Shi Shang playing with his phone and was about to cry. Oh, see if any CEO likes you and sends you a gown. Shi Shang answered casually. It's just a supporting role anyway. It's not important. The young girl stared at Cheng Shi. What was Sister Cheng Shi talking about? A CEO sending a gown? Did she think she was writing a romance drama? The young girl grabbed Shi Shang's hand. This is the first time I've received such a serious role. Will I be able to get it in time if I go back now? There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. What's the hurry? Shi Shang was still calm. The young girl was speechless. This was her first time. Ding. Fei Yu. Measurements. Height. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows and clicked on the girl's profile picture. The number of fans was average and didn't exceed 4 digits. Shi Shang sent the young girl's measurements and height. The girl replied with an OK sign and sent a picture over. Fei Yu, I've sent someone to send it over. It will arrive at Xiangying Studio in 10 minutes. Shi Shang handed the phone to the young girl. Here, your CEO is here. Go down and welcome him. Chapter 14:26. The girl stared at the picture on the phone and her eyes widened. This dress is so beautiful. Shi Shang took the phone back and said with a straight face, Go down and get the dress. Huh? The girl was stunned. You're really going? He's not kidding, is he? This manager of hers. Well, her reputation was terrible. Who would really help her? Shi Shang looked at the girl and she was terrified. She hurried down the stairs to get the dress. However, she didn't expect that she would get the dress and that the other party would give her a business card. The girl went back upstairs in a daze. Sister Cheng Shi, the person who delivered the dress, gave me a business card and said that they want me to be the spokesperson for their new spring collection. Oh, it's a blessing in disguise. That's good, Shi Shang said faintly. Go and get changed. Can you put it on yourself? Oh. Shi Shang took the name card and looked at it. Her eyes narrowed. I might have randomly picked up an incredible creature, the female lead. Caesar said that there were female leads in the real world, and there was more than one. However, in a region, there could only be one female lead. If the female leads gathered together, it would ruin things. The female lead in this place was most likely this naive girl that she had picked up. She was optimistic, kind, and confused from time to time. Most importantly, she was unbelievably lucky. When she got the role, the director had agreed to let her audition after some effort. However, after the audition, the director decided that she was the one. Who else but the female lead could have such luck? Shi Shang didn't make the final decision. He decided to wait and see. The dress that the other party sent was a white dress. It was simple and elegant, with an irregular design and a tassel belt around the waist. It was very elegant when she walked, and it matched the young lady's complexion very well. It looked fresh and cute on her, as if it was tailor-made for her. There were also shoes and jewelry. It was obviously a set. The girl came out of the changing room and everyone's eyes were fixed on her. When they heard that she didn't bring any clothes, they were gloating. Who would have thought that she would come out in such an outfit? Do I look good? The girl stood in front of Shi Shang and asked nervously. Yes. Shi Shang took a picture of her. Do you have Weibo? Ah. The little girl nodded in confusion. Yes, but I don't use it often. Shi Shang said as he typed on his phone, if it's a private Weibo account, delete it as soon as possible. From today onwards, you have to live a life without any privacy. The young lady hurriedly took out her phone and deleted the few Weibo posts on it. Then, she followed Shi Shang's instructions and changed her name to her real name, Yuan Ruola. Unfortunately, someone had already registered. She tore the name apart and tried several times, but someone still registered. Ruola of the Yuan family. The little girl finally changed her name. She followed her manager, and a message popped up. Cheng Shi V. Thank you Fei Yu sponsorship. You don't have to thank me for the free advertisement. At Yuan Jiaruola, my artist, please take care of her in the future. It doesn't matter if you slander me, but please be careful. She is an innocent little girl. If I find out that someone is playing tricks behind her, I promise that the internet police will invite you to tea at your house. Picture. The first thing everyone saw was the little girl in the picture. She was wearing a white gown. The little girl lowered her head slightly with a shy expression on her face. She looked at the camera shyly and timidly. Her eyes were captured very well. She was simply a little fairy. It had to be said that Yuan Ruola was very photogenic. That ordinary profile picture just now made many people stare blankly at her. At this time, this picture directly attracted fans. Yuan Ruola saw that her fans had increased by a lot after refreshing the page. She was dumbfounded from the beginning to the end. Su family's little Lang Jun. Ah, what a cute little fairy. Tian Cancan. Why did she take things so hard and follow Cheng Shi? Hey, little brother. Someone actually sent her clothes? Today is an eye-opener. Emergency rescue can be done in this way. Your little pink upstairs. You will never understand how Cheng Shi's brain works. Heaven on earth. Blah blah blah. Yuan Ruola looked at these comments and carefully forwarded them. Yuan family's Ruola. Please take care of her. Cheng Shi, thank you Feiyu sponsorship. No need to thank me for free advertising. At Yuan family's Ruola, my artist, please take care of her in the future. It doesn't matter if you slander me, but please be careful. She is an innocent little girl. If I find out that someone is behind this, I promise that the internet police will treat you to tea at your house. Picture. Feiyu, you're welcome. Cheng Shi, thank you Feiyu sponsorship. No need to thank me for free advertising. At Yuan family's Ruola, my artist, please take care of her in the future. It doesn't matter if you slander me, but please be careful. She is an innocent little girl. If I find out that someone is behind this, I promise that the internet police will treat you to tea at your house. Picture Igor. Feiyu, you're welcome. Cheng Shi, thank you Feiyu sponsorship. No need to thank me for free advertising. At Yuan family's Ruola, my artist, please take care of her in the future. It doesn't matter if you slander me, but please be careful. She is an innocent little girl. If I find out that someone is behind this, I promise that the internet police will treat you to tea at your house. Picture. The last repost was from one of the most popular fashion brands. This was an official account, so it wouldn't repost such a message for no reason, unless, with this repost, Yuan Ruola's fan count skyrocketed. Shi Shang patted Yuan Ruola, who was still in a daze, and said, "You're the female lead." How lucky was she to be able to pick up the female lead so casually? She could go buy a lottery ticket later. Maybe she would win the lottery? Ha! Yuan Ruola looked at her agent in a daze. What? At this time, everyone's attention was on the TV series Celestial God. What Shi Shang didn't cause too much of a stir. The press conference for Celestial God officially started. Yuan Ruola didn't have time to think about this and hurriedly followed the others. Characters like them naturally had to be the last to go on stage. Once they went on stage, they would make their appearance. Whether they could be photographed or not depended entirely on their own skills. It was Yuan Ruola's first time participating in such an event. She didn't have much experience and was squeezed into a corner. She looked a little helpless and pitiful. Cheng Shi, I'm going to start the live broadcast now. You all should be quiet. Don't think about how to scold me all day long. Will I lose a piece of meat if you scold me? If you have the ability, come and fight me directly. Whoever is a coward is an idiot. All the anti-fans. They were convinced that she was so ambitious. When Shi Shang said live broadcast, he was actually recording a video. Small videos were sent out one by one. This press conference was live broadcast, but what was seen on the camera was what the officials wanted them to see. Shi Shang's video was different. He chose all kinds of interesting places to record and also very leisurely added a short paragraph to it. From another angle, Everyone realized that what was happening on camera and what was happening outside were two completely different things. The above content was pure nonsense and had nothing to do with reality. Don't take it seriously. Chapter 14:27. In public, Shishang's video wasn't a big deal. It just damaged her image and made her fans change their ways. For example, a certain star was smiling in front of the camera, but when she turned her head and the camera couldn't see her face, she became impatient. The female lead of Deity was Ku Pei Xin and the male lead was Du Yeyuan. Both of them were artists under Shui Yuhe. Shui Yuhe was in the limelight. Shui Yuhe was very smart. Shishang felt that it was a bit troublesome to compete with her, so she decided to beat her up tonight to avenge the original owner. Host, you can beat people up if you want to. Why are you dragging the original owner into this? When did she ever think about the original owner? Okay, I won't drag the original owner into this. I'll kill her tonight. It was wrong. It shouldn't have said so much. It would go offline, okay? Master, are you sure she won't destroy the real world? Sure enough, the camera rarely fell on Yuan Ruola. Shishang had to do it himself. After all, she was a big shot with 7 figures of fans. Although they were anti-fans. As soon as Yuan Ruola's video was posted, there was a row of comments below. Happy every day. She filmed other people so casually, but she filmed her own artist so well. She's really her biological daughter. And Shang. Am I the only one who thinks that it's because the little fairy is beautiful? I get out. I'm a fan now. Little fairy fan, Cheng Shi is an anti-fan. Cheng Shi V. I'm a professional agent. Anti-fans, you're using your professionalism to attack people. Also, they're holding a press conference, but you're doing a small video broadcast here. What professionalism? You have the nerve to say that. Believe it or not, Shongying Film and Television will make trouble for you. After the press conference, the media dispersed and prepared to go back to write their reports. But as soon as they went out, they saw the video being posted everywhere by Shishang. All the reporters. Did she become a paparazzi instead of an agent? It was such a serious press conference, but she used such a paparazzi method to expose all the highlights that could be exposed. Flips table. How were they going to play? When the artists found out that they had been defamed by Shishang, they contacted her online and asked her to delete the video. Shishang played dead the whole time and didn't respond at all. Shongying Film and Television contacted her and asked her to delete the video on the grounds of infringement. Shishang's reply was long, and the general idea was, that was a public event, a press conference. She didn't say that only those with a photography license could take the photos, nor did she say that it couldn't be uploaded online. Moreover, she was just adding to their popularity. She's such a living Lei Feng. You don't have to thank her too much. Shongying Film was furious, but she also understood that Shishang was taking revenge on the security guards. She still had an artist who was going to participate in this TV series, yet she dared to play around like this. Not only was Shongying Film and Television impressed, but everyone on the internet was also impressed. This manager must be crazy. However, this incident also let everyone know that although the 4th female lead of Celestial God, Yuan Ruola, was not as popular as the main cast, she was far more popular than the other supporting roles. The professional agent was taking Yuan Ruola to a meeting. Yuan Ruola was still wearing the same clothes. She was scrolling through her phone and reading to Shishang how the internet was criticizing her. Sister Cheng Shi, is it really okay? Yuan Ruola finished reading and looked at Shishang anxiously. She had offended the whole crew. She never thought that her manager would be so cruel when it came to offending people. She didn't just offend one person at a time, she offended a whole bunch of people. What are you afraid of? Shishang looked arrogant. Do you really think that I want you to become popular because of this show? Yuan Ruola stared at Shishang blankly as usual. I'm just using you to gain popularity. Look, you're much more popular than them now. Shishang pointed at the number of fans on her screen. Sister Cheng Shi, you didn't plan this, did you? The car stopped. Shishang opened the door and got out. Yuan Ruola hurriedly followed him. Shishang looked up at the darkening sky and tilted his head slightly. You have to learn to analyze and use your advantages. What were her advantages? She had a large number of anti-fans. In the past 6 months, these anti-fans had built a deep relationship with her. She could use this to easily push Yuan Ruola out. She didn't expect to have any obvious effects, but she didn't expect to have an unexpected gain from Igor. Life was full of surprises. Who knew if the next step would be a surprise? Therefore, people had to have hope. Yuan Ruola looked at the woman in front of her. She seemed to have a power that made people believe in her. As long as they believed in her, any miracle could happen. She suddenly felt that Sister Cheng, she was so cool. Later, if someone asks you to agree to some strange conditions, such as making you famous and then marrying him, would you agree? The pink bubble in Yuan Ruola's mind was shattered by Shishang's words. She looked at Shishang in disbelief. Sister Cheng Shi, you want me to sell my body? Shishang's face was cold. I'm just asking you, will you agree? Of course not. Yuan Ruola fiercely refused. I won't sell my love for my career. I hope you'll remember that. Shishang lifted her foot and walked forward. Yuan Ruola blinked and caught up with Shishang. Sister Cheng Shi, what do you mean? Nothing, I'm just asking you. According to the usual plot, this was usually the case. The naive girl who hadn't entered the entertainment industry yet didn't know how dangerous it was. At first, she would stubbornly refuse the CEO, but after the CEO deliberately or unintentionally suppressed her, she would understand the darkness of the industry and obediently return to the CEO's side to be a canary. From then on, she would embark on a bright road and live happily with the CEO. Host, since you suspect that the other party might be the male lead, why did you bring her to see him? The system couldn't understand with its low intelligence. What does it have to do with me? How is it none of your business? Isn't it your style to throw money at others? My money is reserved for Feng Ci. The system was speechless. Yuan Ruola couldn't imagine that Shishang had already made an appointment with Igor and even discussed the terms of the contract while she was at the press conference. At this moment, she was sitting in the private room and was still in a daze. #My manager seems to be a little amazing #. If Miss Yuan and Miss Cheng feel that there is no problem, we will enter the formal contract stage. The man opposite her was modest and polite. One look and you could tell that he was doing big things. No wonder he was from a big company. Yuan Ruola thought so and didn't hear what the man said clearly. She only heard Shishang mention a few requests and the other party seemed to be in a difficult position. Both sides had their own opinions, and in the end, Shishang won by not giving in. Miss Cheng is very capable. The man smiled and stood up. Our CEO wants to talk to you alone. I wonder if Miss Cheng has time. I said I don't have time. Is your CEO going to ban me? The other party smiled and didn't say anything, but his meaning was obvious. She was right. Chapter 1428. The CEO's surname was Lin Junqing. It was obvious that this was not an ordinary name. The moment Shishang entered, she sized him up. From head to toe, from inside to outside, this fellow exuded the aura of I'm the male lead. It's pretty close. Miss Cheng, please take a seat. The man was expressionless, but his tone was calm. Shishang sat down and waited for him to continue. Lin Junqing was a little surprised by Shishang's calmness. Miss Cheng, do you have a company? Shishang's lips curved. Mr. Lin, are you going to open a company for me? Lin Junqing was speechless. There was no pattern to this at all. He straightened his body and looked at the woman in front of him more seriously. This woman was different from all the other women he had dealt with. Miss Cheng, I can open a company for you, but I have a condition. Make Yuan Ruola famous. Lin Junqing was speechless. How am I supposed to talk like this? Can't you follow the pattern? Shishang rolled his eyes in his heart. This was indeed the male lead. Yuan Ruola is my artist. Of course I will make her famous. Mr. Lin, you don't have to worry about her. Lin Junqing quickly recovered. Miss Cheng, do you think you can still survive in this industry after offending me? She Shang looked indifferent. I have so many anti-fans. I don't care if you're one more. Lin Junqing narrowed his eyes. Don't you know the Lin family's influence? Are you trying to use your power to suppress me? Yes, you're very powerful. You're the boss here. But I'm alone. What are you going to use to threaten me? Shi Sheng paused. On the contrary, I have Yuan Ruola now. Do you think she will choose you or me? This woman. If you have any improper thoughts, you can go to her directly. If she agrees, I won't say anything. Just pretend that I don't have this artist. Shi Shang stood up and looked at Lin Junqing with a half-smile. Of course, if you dare to use any means to threaten her, I will let you know that the Lin family is nothing more than this. That naive girl was under her protection now. How could she let her go so easily? Why would the female lead succumb to the male lead? Why would she hate him so much, but at the same time, develop an attachment to the male lead and fall in love with him? This was because when the female lead was in her most difficult times, although the male lead would torment the female lead, when the female lead was bullied or misunderstood, he would come out to protect her. People are at their most vulnerable when they need protection. Shi Shang left the office arrogantly. Lin Junqing's calm face immediately darkened, and his eyes were filled with a sharp and ruthless light. He had never seen such an arrogant woman. A mere manager actually dared to challenge him. President, do you still want to sign the contract? The man who had been staying in the inner room came out and asked carefully. Lin Junqing was silent for a moment. Sign. Yuan Ruola was still in a daze as she walked out of the office. She had actually managed to secure Egoer's spring endorsement. The entire day felt like a dream. Yuan Ruola was drifting in the front passenger seat. She did not notice that Shi Shang had parked the car outside a residential area. Yuan Ruola drifted for about 5 minutes before she realized that the car had stopped and Shi Shang was playing a game with his head down. She looked around. It was a complete stranger. She had no choice but to ask Shi Shang, Sister Cheng Shi, what are we doing here? Shi Shang said concisely, we're waiting for someone. Waiting for someone? Waiting for who? Shi Shang was completely engrossed in his game and ignored her. Yuan Ruola could only lean against the car window and look out. Just as she was about to fall asleep, Shi Shang suddenly opened the car door and got out. Yuan Ruola was startled awake and hurriedly got out of the car. Shi Shang walked towards the residential area. Yuan Ruola wanted to follow him, but Shi Shang asked her to wait in the car. Yuan Ruola was very obedient to Shi Shang now. Naturally, she did not dare to disobey him and obediently waited in the car. Shi Shang came back about half an hour later. He did not look any different from when he left. He even seemed a little happier. Shi Shang got into the car and started it. Sister Cheng Shi, what did you do just now? Hit someone. Yuan Ruola said, hit someone, hit someone? She looked at Shi Shang abruptly. Who did you hit? Shui Yuhe. Shui Yuhe? The Shui Yuhe who was not on good terms with Sister Cheng Shi? After spending some time with her, she knew that she was completely different from the person she was described to be half a year ago. Those news articles must have been about Shui Yuhe framing Sister Cheng Shi. But hitting someone, that was illegal. Yuan Ruola immediately panicked. Sister Cheng Shi, will she cause trouble for you if you hit her? What if she sues you? I'll sue her as long as she can find evidence that I hit her. What a joke. Did she think that her years of experience in hitting people were for nothing? Yuan Ruola heaved a sigh of relief. That was not right. Shouldn't she be concerned about breaking the law first? By the time Yuan Ruola realized what had happened, she had already been sent back to school by Shi Shang. After she went back, her roommates kept asking her questions. Her photos were all over the internet now. After dealing with her roommates, Yuan Ruola no longer had the energy to think about breaking the law. When she woke up the next day, she was so busy that she forgot about the incident. Shi Shang helped her with the school's procedures so that she did not have to go back to school. Her roommates were envious. They were still studying, but Shui Yuhe had already stepped into the entertainment industry. Shui Yuhe had been hit for no reason. She did not know who had done it and felt very aggrieved. Hence, she was also annoyed by Ku Peixin's stupidity. When Shui Yuhe was told that the endorsement she had been negotiating had already been signed, she was dumbfounded. She was furious. Egoer was a high-end brand, so their spokesperson had to be at the top. Even if it was not a movie queen, it had to be a popular celebrity. She had already asked around and found out that those who had the ability to take on the endorsement were all busy. With Ku Peixin's popularity, she was the most promising candidate. But now, someone had signed her for no reason? As long as Ku Peixin took on this endorsement, her endorsement fees would be much higher in the future. Who did you sign? Shui Yuhe asked, unwilling to give up. The other party had no intention of hiding it. It's Yuan Ruola. Yuan Ruola? Who was that? It took Shui Yuhe a while to realize that this was the artist under Cheng Shi. She's just a newbie who hasn't even made a name for herself. How can she take on this endorsement? Shui Yuhe's heartbeat quickened and her voice trembled. Of course, she was angry. Miss Shui, this is the decision of the higher-ups. I can't do anything about it. Let's work together again next time. The other party's tone was polite, but Shui Yuhe could tell that something was wrong. She quickly restrained her tone and hung up after exchanging a few pleasantries. Cheng Shi. Shui Yuhe's eyes were red. She still managed to find a way and even managed to hook up with Egoer. Egoer was backed by the Lin family. The Lin family's carnival entertainment was much better than her current company. The more Shui Yuhe thought about it, the angrier she got. She could not let her make a name for herself again. She opened Weibo and saw the things on Shi Shang's Weibo. Her expression turned ugly. After the press conference for Celestial God, her homepage was filled with videos. She did not even notice the interaction between her and Egoer below. She was still at the press conference at that time. #today, I'm begging for a ticket for lunch ## double monthly ticket or ## why don't you vote during the weekend #. Chapter 1429. At the opening ceremony of God, Shi Shang brought Yuan Ruo to the set. Most of the people in the set were flattering the powerful and stepping on the weak. These people didn't treat them well. To put it bluntly, they were just short of throwing a tantrum. Sister Cheng Shi. Yuan Ruola tugged at Shi Shang's sleeve timidly. This is the path you've chosen. You've chosen the world you want to enter. Take a good look. Shi Shang pushed her hand away. If you don't want to be treated like this, then work hard to climb up. When you're above them, no one will dare to throw a tantrum. Yuan Ruola was speechless. Yes, this was the path she had chosen. She couldn't back down. Yuan Ruola took a deep breath. Although she tried her best to hide the timidity in her heart, she was still young after all. It was easy to see through her expression. Shi Shang arrived early with Yuan Ruola ignoring the staff's attempts to stop them. They directly occupied a lounge. If she had arrived late with this naive girl, there probably wouldn't even be a public lounge. How can you be so shameless? Miss Ku and Mr. Du haven't arrived yet. The staff stood outside and angrily rebuked Shi Shang with a red face. Shi Shang blocked the door. What does it have to do with me whether they're here or not? I have to wait for them? Who do they think they are? The staff frowned and disdainfully said, Who do you think you are? Why don't you look at yourself in the mirror? You want to use a private lounge? It's none of your business. I want this lounge today. Shi Shang raised his eyebrows with a look that said, What are you going to do about it? Sister Cheng Shi. Yuan Ruola cautiously called her from behind. She was still a newcomer. Wasn't it bad to offend people like this? However, Shi Shang ignored her completely. He quickly threw out the staff who kept talking about Ku Peixin and Du Yiyuan, and slammed the door shut. Shi Shang looked at Yuan Ruola calmly. According to your current status, you really can't have a private lounge, but, she raised her chin slightly and said, remember, I'm your manager. My resources are your resources. I don't mind if you rely on me to get to the top. The only thing is, don't play any tricks. If I can get you to the top, I can naturally get you to come down. Yuan Ruola was stunned when she heard this. What was going on? Shi Shang took out his phone and sent a text message. Soon, the staff outside stopped. After that, no one came to kick them out. Yuan Ruola looked at Shi Shang strangely. What should my manager do? She's online. She's very anxious. Answer. Hold on tight. Yuan Ruola was reading the script in the lounge. In fact, she wasn't paying attention to it at all. Her ears were pricked up to listen to the movements outside. When she heard the sound of an argument outside, she stood up quickly. Shi Shang was startled by her. His hand slipped, and his character died. What are you doing? *CK, I almost killed 100 people. Shi Shang looked at Yuan Ruola angrily. Have you finished reading the script? Got it. Yuan Ruola pointed outside anxiously. Sister Cheng Shi, there seems to be an argument outside. Why are you still concerned about killing 100 people at a time like this? Shi Shang rolled his eyes. Let them argue. What does it have to do with you? Do you have nothing better to do? Yuan Ruola was intimidated by Shi Shang's calm demeanor. Her manager was a little arrogant, but no matter what she did, she had never failed. She should trust her. As Yuan Ruola thought this, she slowly sat back down. Strangely, she calmed down. Bang, bang, bang. Very good. Her mood, which had just calmed down, was now fluctuating in an irregular curve. Yuan Ruola was so scared that her limbs turned to jelly. She couldn't get up and could only look at Shi Shang pitifully. What should she do? What should she do? They're here to cause trouble. Shi Shang went to open the door with his phone in annoyance. A group of people surrounded the door. Shi Shang held the door. What are you doing? Do you want to fight? Everyone. What fight? The scene became strangely quiet. Ku Peixin, who was surrounded by a few people, walked in from the back. Cheng Shi, I heard that you've taken a lounge for yourself? Are you blind? Ku Peixin. After not seeing her for half a year, this woman's words had become so unpleasant. In the past, Cheng Shi was capable, but she had done more than she said. Ku Peixin took a deep breath. Cheng Shi, your artist is just a supporting actress. What right does she have to take a single lounge? The lounges are all allocated. Now that you've taken one, do you want Mr. Du and Mr. Jiang to share one? Du Yayuan was the male lead, and Jiang Su was the supporting actor. Jiang Su was as famous as Du Yayuan. The male and female leads, as well as the supporting actor and supporting actress, were all big shots, so they were all allocated single lounges. Now that Shi Shang had taken one, there were only 3 lounges left. If I say there is, then there is. You're unreasonable. Ku Peixin reached out her well-maintained hand. Do you think you're still the Cheng Shi from before? You don't even have a company now, yet you dare to be so arrogant. Aren't you afraid that you can't survive in this industry? Shi Shang raised his eyebrows. If I can't survive, then I won't. Ku Peixin. Everyone looked awkward and conflicted. They had thought that Ku Peixin had defeated this woman, but who knew that she could shut Ku Peixin up with just a few words? It wasn't that Ku Peixin was weak, but that she was simply impossible to respond to. She was indeed a big shot who could argue with anti-fans on the internet. Ku Peixin hated the woman in front of her. So many people were criticizing her, but she acted as if nothing had happened. If it had been anyone else, they would have cut their wrists and committed suicide. Just as Ku Peixin was about to rush up and tear that woman's face apart, a staff member hurried over. Miss Ku, we've made a new lounge. Please don't fight. What right does she have to take a single lounge? Ku Peixin was furious. The staff member glanced at Shi Shang, who was looking at them with a smile. He immediately felt a chill run down his spine. He looked away and smiled apologetically at Kupei-shin. "Miss Ku, this is what the higher-ups have agreed to." Who knew who she had hired as her backer? What could they do now? Kupei-shin seemed to have heard some big news. She covered her mouth exaggeratedly. "Cheng Shi, whose bed did you climb into this time? I didn't expect you to be so capable." The people around them immediately pointed at Shi Shang and whispered among themselves. From time to time, Shi Shang could hear some words clearly. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes. He suddenly went forward and grabbed Kupei-shin's arm. Under everyone's incredulous gazes, he threw her to the ground. It was as if someone had pressed the pause button. All the sounds disappeared and the world fell into a dead silence. She actually dared to hit her. Shi Shang clapped his hands and the crisp sound broke the dead silence. He placed his hands on his hips and looked down at Kupei-shin, who had yet to react. "Do you still think that I'm the same Cheng Shi who was easy to bully?" Chapter 1430. The news of Shi Shang hitting someone in public was quickly spread on the internet. The anti-fans swarmed in, and Weibo fell into chaos again. Some even asked Yuan Ruola to change her agent. She would get into trouble sooner or later. Shi Shang didn't bother to clear his name. Instead, he posted a provocative Weibo. "Cheng Shi V, she just hit someone. She didn't kill anyone. Why are you so agitated? Is Kupei-shin your ancestor? Cowherd, it's illegal to hit someone. You have to bear the criminal responsibility. What did Kupei-shin do to you? How can you hit a girl like her? I've never seen a woman as vicious as you. Xuan Mimi. Go to hell, Cheng Shi. Bitch, you son of AB*TSH. Feng Qi. You have no manners." Greedy smile. "Why do I think this agent is cute? Yongon Shilio. Cute? Are you blind? How is she cute?" Because of Greedy Smile's cute, the comments turned into Greedy Smile. The situation went out of control. Shi Shang disappeared after the provocation. Kupei-shin was fine, but she couldn't swallow the humiliation of being humiliated in front of so many people. After she was taken to the lounge, she smashed the floor. No one around her dared to go up and stop her. Shi Shang hit someone without saying anything. The others were a little scared and didn't dare to go up to her. They all walked around her. About 3 hours after this incident, Shi Shang posted on Weibo again. "Cheng Shi V, come and see your ancestor. If I can't survive in the entertainment industry, maybe I can join the paparazzi. Paparazzi, please don't steal our business. Thank you." It was a complete 9x9 grid. Judging from the angle, it should have been taken in the toilet. In it, Kupei-shin was hitting a girl. The girl had been censored. She was so crazy that she didn't even reveal her clothes. However, Kupei-shin didn't cover anything. She scolded the girl with a ferocious expression, pinching her arm and pulling her hair. This was not the Kupei-shin who was as perfect as a goddess on TV. She was a shrew. This photo was not taken by Shi Shang. It was taken when Yuan Ruola was able to move and went to the toilet to relieve herself. It was her first time doing such a thing. When Yuan Ruola came back, it was as if she had just survived a battle. You must always be on guard against others. You'd better remember this. If you know who is hostile to you, be careful. Before she pulls you off your horse, take her down first. Yuan Ruola's face was pale. Sister Chensi, isn't this inappropriate? Shi Shang put down his phone and asked, "Where did you go?" Entertainment circle. Yuan Ruola gulped. This place eats people without spitting out their bones. If you want to stand out and become famous, you can choose not to harm others. However, if you don't even have the most basic defense against people, I advise you to give up as soon as possible. People in your line of work are best at wearing masks. You should be more careful. Just because you don't harm others doesn't mean that others won't harm you. What Yuan Ruola had experienced recently was more than what she had experienced in her entire life. She nodded as if she understood and tried her best to suppress the guilt in her heart. Ku Peixin had said that about Sister Cheng Shi outside before. She deserved it. What the hell did the host change the pure and innocent female lead into? F***ck, it hurts my eyes. Shi Shang rolled his eyes in his heart. I'm not tricking the CEO. I'm protecting the little white flower and not letting her grow. She's always so innocent. She didn't learn her lesson after suffering once. She's so poisonous. Then don't you dote on Feng Ci so much? Then did I stop him from growing? I don't think so. Although the host doesn't like Feng Ci killing people, she won't stop him from doing it. He can do whatever he wants outside, and the host hopes that he can do whatever he wants outside. Because of Ku Peixin's matter, she was so angry that she couldn't meet anyone for the time being, so she filmed other people's scenes first. Yuan Ruola didn't have many scenes, but they were quite important. It was her first time filming such a scene with lines, so Yuan Ruola was a little nervous. After the director got angry a few times, Yuan Ruola finally got into the mood and passed this scene. On the third day of Yuan Ruola's filming, Du Yuen joined the crew. He was the best actor and time was precious, so he naturally filmed his scenes first. Ku Peixin, who didn't want to meet anyone, also had to come out. She didn't have as much face as Du Yuen. Sister Shi, long time no see. The man blocked Shi Shang in a corridor. The filming location was on the other side, so there was no one here. Shi Shang looked cold. Get out of my way. In the beginning, Du Yuen followed Cheng Shi. Cheng Shi made him a little popular, so he turned around and followed Shui Yuha. Du Yuen smiled at Shi Sheng. Sister Shi, you're already like this. Why don't you consider my suggestion? F***ck. Shi Shang cursed and directly hit him. Du Yuen didn't expect Shi Shang to hit him. He had learned a few moves, but he wasn't proficient. Compared to Shi Shang, who had practiced for half a year and was proficient in his skills, this was nothing. After hitting Du Yuen, Shi Shang flipped his hair and left handsomely. He didn't even give Du Yuen a victory speech. Du Yuen saw stars and got up after a while. She dared to hit him. Mr. Du, are you okay? A staff member came out of nowhere and carefully asked Du Yuen, who looked gloomy. I'm fine. Du Yuen patted his clothes and suddenly paused. He turned to look at the staff member. What did you see just now? The staff member was a little scared by Du Yuen's stare and replied cautiously, I only saw Mr. Du alone. Du Yuen glanced at him and left the corridor with the air of a best actor. Best actor Du Yuen met his former manager by chance. He didn't expect to be treated like this by his manager. The headline was very attractive, but when he opened it, he saw that his manager, who had a lot of anti-fans, was one-sidedly torturing their best actor. F***ck. Who posted this news? Did they have a death wish? They formed a group to attack this media company. They couldn't let Cheng Shi off either. How dare she hit their best actor? The trending topics were #Cheng Shi hit someone, #Cheng Shi get out of the entertainment industry, #Cheng Shi apologize, #this incident alerted the police because many fans directly called the police and said that their idol had been hit. They asked the police to arrest Shi Shang. On the contrary, Shi Shang's anti-fans were much calmer. Pleasant goat. It's just hitting the best actor. Don't be so agitated. Didn't she just hit Ku Peixin a few days ago? Stop and stop don't love. Does she want to hit everyone in the entertainment industry? She's got guts. South Dipper. I wouldn't be surprised if she hit the best actress tomorrow. Hey, little brother, God has a best actress cast? Xiao Ming, get out of here. Are you stupid, Songya? She didn't attend the press conference, but in the publicity, she's the second female lead. This is a fake group. Du Yuen. I only said 2 lines and I was hit. Why did Ku Peixin say so many times before she was hit? Shi Shang. You're a man. Du Yuen. So what if I'm a man? Are you discriminating against me? Feng Ci, yes. Duya Yuan, who is he? What yes? Did he talk to you? Shi Shang. Draws sword, Duya Yuan. Chapter 1431. Duya Yuan didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so when the police came to ask him about it, he denied it and even angrily accused them of spreading rumors online. He didn't have any conflict with Shi Sheng. After all, they had worked together before, so even if they couldn't make a deal, they were still friends. However, Shi Shang slapped Duya Yuan in the face the next second. He admitted on Weibo that she had hit Duya Yuan. Duya Yuan was so angry that he rushed into the break room, scaring Yuan Ruola, who was memorizing her lines. Cheng Shi, are you crazy? He didn't even want to pursue the matter, but she still rushed up to admit it. Shi Shang slowly raised his head, glanced at Duya Yuan, and raised his hand to support his chin. I'll take responsibility for what I did. How can someone like me deny such a small matter? Take responsibility for what I did? Someone like me with status? Small matter? Duya Yuan almost slapped Shi Shang's face with the words, "Are you crazy? Delete your Weibo post. Who do you think you are? You want me to delete it, so I'll delete it? Do you think your face is made of gold? Even if it was made of gold, it wouldn't work, unless you were possessed by Feng Ci. Well, forget it." Duya Yuan's private life was messy. If he were Feng Ci, she would be itching to kill him. Duya Yuan seemed to want to hit him, but the assistant behind him immediately stopped him and dragged him out. If they fought again, it would be terrible. Duya Yuan's exasperated voice came from outside. Cheng Shi, just you wait. Shi Shang rolled his eyes. Can't you change your lines? The whole crew hadn't stopped since the start of the shoot. The director was also very angry, especially when Yuan Ruola couldn't handle it. He was so angry that he could apply for a patent. Yuan Ruola knew that she had offended many people because of Shi Shang, so she didn't dare to say anything. She tried her best to adjust to the director's expectations. Today, after filming, Yuan Ruola didn't find Shi Shang when she went downstairs. Instead, she found Kuei Xin staring at her gloomily. Yuan Ruola's heart skipped a beat and she hurriedly left. She wanted to remove her makeup, but Kuei Xin followed her and pushed her into the lounge. She sneered at her and said, "Chang Shi, that be *tch, is not here. I'd like to see who can protect you today." She grabbed Yuan Ruola's arm, took the jewelry on the dressing table, and poked Yuan Ruola's waist with the sharp end. "Do you think you can rest easy with Cheng Shi's protection? Let me tell you, that's impossible." Yuan Ruola did not utter a word and only resisted, but Kuei Xin's strength was great. She didn't expect Kuei Xin to be so bold as to make a move here. Kuei Xin kept poking Yuan Ruola's waist. Yuan Ruola couldn't avoid it and was forced into a corner. This was more convenient for Kuei Xin. She grabbed Yuan Ruola's hair and said with a ferocious expression, "If you dare tell Cheng Shi about what happened today, I'll scratch your face." She let go of Yuan Ruola, tidied up her clothes, and turned to walk towards the door. When she opened the door, she saw the man standing outside. She was stunned. What a handsome man, however, the man's face was gloomy. He grabbed her neck and pushed her inside. The bodyguards in black followed behind him. What do you want?" Kuei Xin was mesmerized by his beauty. She was only left with fear when she was suddenly grabbed by the neck. The man threw her away in disgust. The bodyguards in black immediately went forward and held her on both sides. They took her out of the room and closed the door. After everyone left, Lin Junqing looked at the girl leaning against the corner. Her hair was messy and her face was pale. At this moment, she looked like a frightened deer, staring at him in horror. Lin Junqing went forward. The gloominess on his face disappeared. "Are you okay?" Yuan Ruola shook her head and looked at Lin Junqing warily. "Cheng Shi has enemies on all sides. You won't have a good ending if you follow her. Come with me. I can give you everything you want." Yuan Ruola suddenly remembered the question Shi Shang asked her before. Her answer was that she would not betray her love for her career. Her answer was still the same. And this person? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know you. Lin Junqing frowned. His tone was a little cold. Haven't you seen the people Cheng she has offended recently? Do you want to suffer with her? Yuan Ruola tightened her grip on her clothes and said firmly, Sister Cheng, she won't hurt me. She said that she will let me stand on the world stage. You trust her that much? Yuan Ruola wanted to say something, but in the end, she just nodded. Lin Junqing seemed to be angry. The gloominess that had disappeared before floated up again. I'll give you time to think about it. I'll come to you again. It was baffling. Yuan Ruola only wanted to say these words, but looking at Lin Junqing's imposing manner, she suppressed it. After the man left the room, her limbs went weak and she fell to the ground. His waist was in pain. She carefully unbuttoned her clothes. Her waist was full of purplish red. Some of the skin was broken and red blood was seeping out. When Shi Shang came back, Yuan Ruola had changed into clean clothes and was sitting aside reading the script as if nothing had happened. Shi Shang put the snacks on the table. Yuan Ruola immediately put on a smile. Thank you, Sister Cheng Shi. Shi Shang's expression was a little cold. Why didn't you resist? Yuan Ruola's hand that was holding the snacks froze and her face turned pale. How did she know? When she went out just now, she didn't hear anyone talking about it. Sister Cheng Shi, I'm not as strong as her. Yuan Ruola suddenly couldn't hold back her grievances. Tears fell down her face. Stupid. Shi Shang left her and quickly left the room. Yuan Ruola looked at the empty room and tried hard to hold back her tears. Shi Shang didn't leave for long. It was less than half an hour. Yuan Ruola still couldn't stop crying. She threw a phone in front of Yuan Ruola. Take revenge yourself. Yuan Ruola remembered that phone. It was Ku Peixin's. She actually brought her cell phone over. In the set. Shocking. The young actress's private life was debauched. She actually had affairs with several men at the same time. This news immediately overshadowed the previous news of Shi Shang hitting someone and quickly climbed to the top. The news was very detailed. Not only were there intimate photos of Ku Peixin with men, but there were also ambiguous text messages between her and different men. It was very explicit and made people blush when they saw it. Soon, someone revealed that one of the men was the director of the drama that made Ku Peixin famous. Later, there was also evidence of Ku Peixin using underhanded means to suppress other artists in order to prevent them from getting promoted. The artists who were bullied by her probably saw that she was going to fall, so they all came out to expose her. Even with Shui Yuha's team, Ku Peixin couldn't clear her name this time. President, are we still going to release it? Lin Junqing raised his head. His gaze was so cold that it was frightening. The assistant couldn't help but shiver. He lowered his head and didn't dare to look at him. How did Cheng Shi act so fast? She used to be the manager of Star Moon Entertainment. She must have something on the artists. Lin Junqing interrupted the assistant. Humph, if she really had it, she would have used it when she was in trouble. President, what do you mean? Lin Junqing knocked on the table. How can she be so unscrupulous in the set of God of Heaven? She has someone behind her. Investigate it. Also, I don't want to see Ku Peixin again. Chapter 1432. After Ku Peixin's accident, the progress of the crew was delayed and she could not continue filming. Luckily, her scenes had just started and there was still time to replace her. The news of godly travel, changing the female lead attracted a lot of attention. The new female lead was also an A-list celebrity, but she could not come yet, so she had been filming supporting roles recently. When the new female lead was ready, Yuan Ruo's scenes were almost done and she would have to go on location. Get ready. We will shoot the commercial tomorrow. Shi Shang put a piece of paper in front of Yuan Ruola. After the commercial is done, this will be the starting price for your endorsement. Do you understand? For a student like her who had not debuted yet, even if she could get a commercial, the advertising fee would be negligible. However, her advertising fee was close to that of a B-list celebrity. Even Yuen Ruola was a little afraid of her amazing agent. He was completely different from other agents. He did not care about what she ate or what she did. Every day, he would either play games or look at stocks. Otherwise, he would be on the phone with someone and scold them. He did not even know when she started working. I heard that there is a partner. Yuen Ruola held the paper and asked carefully. Shi Sheng replied while typing on his phone, I think so. Yuen Ruola was speechless. Are you really my agent? Yuen Ruola swallowed and continued, I heard that. The partner is Jiang-su. The Jiang-su who has not been on set. Jiang-su was the supporting actor, but he was filming and did not show his face except for the press conference. She only found out about this when she saw Igor's latest repost. Igor's official account was very interesting. It would repost the Weibo of whichever artist it wanted to use as its spokesperson. It would not comment and would just repost it silently, as if to prove that the artist was the spokesperson it was about to use. Shi Sheng tilted his head. What's the problem? Yuen Ruola was speechless. She might have a fake agent. Yuen Ruola had been cramming her knowledge of this circle recently. Jiang-su and Du Yuen were on par, but Jiang-su had a bad temper and came from a rich family. Whoever messed with him would be in trouble. He would not even give face to the media and would turn hostile at any time. He was simply a replica of her agent. If she were to shoot an advertisement with such a bad-tempered big shot, would she really be able to come back alive? While Yuen Ruola suspected that she had a fake agent, she arrived at the studio where the advertisement was being shot. The official representative of Igor was waiting for them. Miss Cheng, Miss Yuan, today's task is a little heavy. I might have to trouble you. The official was very polite. Yuen Ruola was flattered. It's okay, it's okay. Shi Sheng walked forward without saying a word, as if Yuen Ruola was the manager and she was the artist. The official was surprised, but he didn't say anything. He led them into the studio, where all the staff were getting ready. Yuen Ruola had to do her makeup first, while Shi Sheng was waiting outside. Mr. Jiang hasn't arrived yet? No, I just called to say that I'll be a little late. It's okay, we can shoot the female clothes first. Alright then, let's move faster. The studio was busy. Yuen Ruola got dressed and came out. She found the spotlight and followed the photographer's instructions. Miss Yuan is very talented. Shi Sheng tilted his head to look at the person who spoke. It was the man who had led them in earlier. They all called him Director Li. Shi Sheng looked away and continued to look at Yuen Ruola, who was shooting, without any intention of paying attention to Director Li. Director Li didn't feel awkward and continued to ask, Miss Cheng, what do you think is the happiest thing for an artist? Shi Sheng raised his eyebrows slightly and said in an unfriendly tone, Did Lin Junqing ask you to be a lobbyist? Director Li was surprised that he had been exposed, but he didn't panic. He said slowly, Miss Cheng, President Lin has Carnival Entertainment under his name. You have enemies on all sides now. With Carnival as your backer, no one will dare to cause trouble for you. This is such a good opportunity that others can't even ask for it. He didn't understand what President Lin saw in Yuen Ruola and why he had to go through so much trouble to get her. Unfortunately, this manager was also a strange person. What happened half a year ago didn't affect her at all. Instead, it changed her personality so much. You should keep this good opportunity for yourself. I'm not interested. Director Li. It would be great if President Lin took a liking to me. Shi Sheng kept a distance from Director Li. His expression clearly said that he didn't want to talk to him and that he would beat him up if he continued to talk nonsense. Director Li sighed. He had never seen such a difficult manager. During the intermission, Yuen Ruola said that she was hungry. Shi Sheng went out to buy food for her, but when he came back, he found that she was gone. He asked a few staff members, who said that they saw her go in the direction of the toilet. Pa. How many times have I told you to bring my moisturizer when you go out? What's wrong with your memory? What do I need you for? A man's angry roar came from the corner in front of him. The voice sounded familiar. Shishang thought for a moment and found the name in his mind. Jiangsu. Shishang took a few steps forward and the scene immediately became clear. A man was standing with his back to her, pointing at the opposite side with his hands on his hips and shouting, "No dinner tonight. I'll deduct your salary." Jiangsu was famous for his bad temper. 9 out of 10 people who worked for him didn't have a good time. Pick up your phone. Do you need me to teach you how to stand there? Why are you glaring at me? Don't forget who you are. Pick it up. Jiangsu pointed at the phone on the ground arrogantly. The person who was blocked by him hesitated for a moment, then squatted down to pick up the phone. He missed Jiangsu, and his body was exposed in Shishang's sight. It was a very young man, wearing an ordinary t-shirt. His hair seemed to be naturally curly and a little fluffy. His eyes were slightly lowered, and his face was tense. It seemed that he was trying to suppress his anger. She narrowed her eyes and was stunned for a moment. She walked over to him. "Mr. Jiang." "What?" Someone suddenly called him. Jiangsu turned around impatiently and punched him in the face. Jiangsu was stunned and his mind went blank. Shishang grabbed him by the collar and pressed him against the glass window. She kneed him in the stomach before yanking him to the side. Jiangsu lost his balance and fell to the ground. Shishang's eyes were cold, and there seemed to be frost condensing in the bottom of his calm eyes. "Get out." Jiangsu's body trembled, and he was frightened by her aura. He scrambled up from the ground and disappeared into the corridor in a few steps. Shishang turned around. The man was still in the position of picking up the phone, looking up at her. Shishang saw only unfamiliarity in his eyes. He didn't remember her. "Sai. You. What's your name?" The man stood up straight, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Miss Cheng, you're so forgetful that you don't even remember my name?" Shishang. Chapter 1433. Shishang was sure that there was no information about the man in front of her in the original owner's memory. So what was the meaning of this? And the way he looked at her right now was very unfriendly. Was this the question of the assessment? Turn against each other? What the hell? Are you kidding me? The man didn't say much and walked past her with his phone. But when he passed by her, his eyes changed slightly. He paused and seemed to be a little confused. But it was only for a moment and he quickly left. Shishang scratched his head. So it was that idiot Caesar who said it could be anyone. He wasn't kidding. F*ck him. It didn't matter. She had money anyway and could provide for him. It didn't matter if he couldn't remember. She could make him remember. Host, don't be so dirty. This system is still a child. Shishang suppressed the irritation in his heart and went to find his silly artist first. Shishang walked along the road and finally found the prop that the silly artist had dropped in front of a door. It must have been hung on the door and rubbed down. Shishang walked in and listened to the sounds inside. The soundproofing was very good and he couldn't hear anything at all. Shishang imagined all kinds of things. No matter how he looked at it, something indescribable was about to happen between the president and the female lead. Shishang turned the door, but it was locked from the inside. She took 2 steps back, rubbed her hands, took out her sword, and slashed down. The door was split open and cries and screams came out like a tide. The room was very dark. On the sofa, a man was pressing down on a woman and tearing her clothes. The man was startled when the door was split open. He stopped what he was doing and looked over. The woman was holding an iron sword and standing at the door. "President Lin, is it so difficult to find a woman? Do you need to rape her?" Yuan Ruola didn't know where she got the strength. She pushed Lin Junqing away and stumbled to Shishang's side. She shrank behind him and cried softly, "Cheng Shi, mind your own business." Lin Juanqing's face darkened and he glared at Shi Shang with gritted teeth. This woman had ruined his plans time and time again. She's my artist. How is this meddling in other people's business? Shi Shang narrowed his eyes. He took off his coat and put it on Yuan Ruola. Then, he walked inside with his sword. It would have been fine if she hadn't seen it, but she had. It wasn't easy for her to bring the female lead out of the rhythm of the plot. Just how many things would happen if you slept? Breaking up the ship was something that couldn't be forgotten at all times. Pervert. The system really couldn't understand its host's brain circuit. The male and female leads didn't provoke her, so why did she want to tear them apart? Would you die if you didn't dismantle the ship? Can't you go find your Feng CI and think of a way to recover your memory? His own CP was about to be torn apart, yet he still had the time to tear apart others. The system really wanted to roar, but it didn't dare. That's right, it was that cowardly. Lin Juanqing watched as the woman walked in step by step. Her entire body exuded a vicious aura, as if she was an evil spirit that wanted to take his life. The surrounding temperature dropped to 0 degrees, and the cold air rushed up from the soles of his feet. Lin Juanqing's heart suddenly jumped, and for the first time, he felt fear. Shi Shang brought Yuan Ruola back to the studio. Yuan Ruola was in a bit of a trance, and she grabbed Shi Shang's arm tightly. Shi Shang pushed her away, but she clung to him again. At this time, they were filming Jiangsu, so not many people in the studio noticed them. Sister Chang Shi, we hit that person. Will he take revenge on us? Chang Shi lowered her voice, and there was a hint of sobbing. Revenge? Then let him take revenge. I'm not afraid of him. Shi Shang's gaze swept past the people in the studio, and he saw the man in the corner. He stood there like a lifeless object, and if one didn't pay attention, they wouldn't have noticed him. Do you know that person? Yuan Ruola sniffed, and looked in the direction Shi Shang was looking. After a while, she shook her head. Okay, thank you for your hard work, Mr. Jiang. Mr. Jiang, rest for a while, and we'll be filming soon. Miss Yuan, come over and familiarize yourself with Mr. Jiang. Yuan Ruola grabbed Shi Shang's hand tightly. She was very scared now. Shi Shang pried her hand away. Calm down. Do you want people to know what you've been through just now? Yuan Ruola just wanted to find a place to cry, but she couldn't. You've chosen this path, and you can only bear all the grievances and sadness. No one can help you. You can only be fearless when you're strong. Shi Shang's words were extremely cruel, but after a long time, Yuan Ruola would think about it. If she hadn't been so cruel to her back then, she wouldn't have been able to go so far. She would always put the cruelest facts in front of you first, and let you know the dangers and filth in it. When you still made the same decision, she would then help you plan your future. And what she needed to do was to believe in her. Yuan Ruola took a deep breath, and walked toward Jiangsu. Jiangsu probably saw Shi Shang, and at this time, he was staring daggers at her. Knowing that Yuan Ruola was his artist, he naturally ridiculed her mercilessly. During the filming, she was tortured even more. After Yuan Ruola came back, she leaned against Shi Shang and said weakly, "That person's name is Chao Qing. She's Jiangsu's assistant. Being his assistant is such bad luck." Yuan Ruola tilted her head and looked at the other side. Jiangsu was throwing a tantrum at Chao Qing. The hot water the crew just poured was splashed onto Chao Qing. Her exposed skin turned red. Chao Qing lowered her head without a word. Yuan Ruola was still shaking her head. Her manager suddenly stood up, grabbed a stick, and walked over to Jiangsu. Then, he raised his hand and hit Jiangsu. Everyone. What the hell? Had it not been for the studio staff holding her back, Shi Shang would have beaten Jiangsu to death. Jiangsu's face was swollen. After being hit twice, he was furious. He screamed at her, "Cheng Shi, you're crazy. I'm going to call the police. Call the police. I'm going to sue you." Shi Shang threw away the stick in his hand and coldly snickered. "Sue me? Go ahead. You hit a person. At most, you'll have to pay for it. I don't lack money. You. This crazy woman hit him twice for no reason. Did she forget to take her medicine? Shi Shang's eyes were cold. If you dare to touch him again, I will let you know what it means to wish you were dead. Who? Jiang Su still didn't know why he was hit. After Shi Shang spoke, he fiercely looked over to Chao Qing. Shi Shang turned to look at Chao Qing, who hadn't spoken this entire time. He wanted to yell at her, but in the end, he swallowed it and dragged her away. Chao Qing wanted to break free, but Shi Shang was too strong. She was dragged away with him. Yuan Ruola was dumbfounded the entire time. What was going on? What was wrong with her manager's brain? Wait, Sister Cheng Shi, are you not going to take me? Yuan Ruola couldn't care less about the chaotic scene. She shoved her stuff into her bag and chased after Shi Sheng. There was a scary man here. She didn't want to stay. #hashtag today's Yunnan tea flavored ticket #, the last day, double monthly votes. Little cuties, work harder. Chapter 1434. The news of Shi Shang hitting someone once again swept across all the headlines. Great, she hit another actor from God of Heaven. She was planning on hitting all the actors in God of Heaven. Of course, Shi Shang had no idea that news of her hitting someone was spreading like wildfire online. She dragged Chao Qing out of the studio and headed to the parking lot. Chao Qing realized what she was doing and got rid of her at the entrance. Cheng Shi, what do you want? Chao Qing glared at her coldly. Shi Shang suppressed his anger. Let me see your hand. Chao Qing put her hand behind her back. I don't need your fake kindness. He didn't seem to want to see Shi Shang and went back the way he came. What the hell? What kind of grudge did Cheng Shi and Chao Qing have? Shi Shang chased after him and stopped him. What did I do to offend you? Chao Qing was in disbelief. Then, she became furious as if she had been insulted. Cheng Shi, what tricks do you want to play now? I want to play with you. Shi Shang had no idea what happened between Cheng Shi and Chao Qing. Feng Xi's reaction right now was because he inherited Chao Qing's memories and emotions. He inherited the original Feng Xi's emotions on a deeper level than in the virtual game. Since it was a test, it wasn't going to be easy. So, let's not waste any more time. Shi Shang raised his hand and aimed it at Chao Qing's neck. He knocked her out and took her away. Shi Shang called Yuan Ruola and asked her to come to the garage. The latter ran to the garage and saw the man lying in the back. Her mouth opened so wide you could stuff a duck egg in. Sister Cheng Shi. You. What happened to him? Why was he lying in the back? Was Sister Cheng Shi going to kidnap him? What happened? Get in the car, Shi Shang called her impatiently. Yuan Ruola was sent back to her apartment in fear. Shi Shang reminded her to be careful and not to go out with anyone. Then, he drove away. Yuan Ruola. Is it too late to change managers? Shi Shang took Chao Qing back to his apartment and took out a bunch of medicine to apply to his arm. The glass of water must have just been boiled. His arm was scalded to the point of blistering. Chao Qing looked delicate. Plus, her hair was loose and curly. At first glance, she looked like a foreigner. Shi Shang sighed. He leaned against the bed and searched for Chao Qing's name on his phone. That name was quite common and there were a lot of websites. Shi Shang searched for a while before he found something useful. It was a post that was posted on Tieba. It was an audition from 4 years ago. Chao Qing was also an actress. There was an audition in the original owner's memory. At that time, Du Yuen was still with her. That role was very popular, and the director at that time was a very stubborn and principled person. The artist he wanted to find had to meet his requirements. No one could get in through the back door. Du Yuen didn't really fit the description, but the original owner. Some minor details suddenly became clear. During that audition, the director liked Chao Qing the most. His temperament was perfect for the role. Though the director hasn't announced who they're going to pick, Du Yeyuan couldn't sit still anymore. He accused Chao Qing of stealing. That director placed a lot of emphasis on character. No one believed Chao Qing's excuses. Plus, there were traces of someone else behind the scenes. In the end, Chao Qing lost the role. Du Yeyuan used that role to soar into the sky. Back then, Chao Qing went to the original owner and tried to get her to clarify. However, as Du Yeyuan's manager, the original owner had to think from his perspective. As expected, she helped Du Yeyuan cover this up. After that, Chao Qing never appeared in front of the original owner again. The original owner was so busy that she forgot all about this. Shi Sheng didn't feel good at all. How was he supposed to play? I wasn't going to take the original owner's blame. When Chao Qing woke up, the sun was setting outside. The sunset painted the room with a strange glow. The pain on his neck woke him up. He propped himself up and sat up. His arm was cold and there was no longer any burning pain. Where was this place? It wasn't a big room. The decorations were simple and the decorations were messy. But from the environment, it was obvious that this was where this woman lived. Cheng Shi. Chao Qing remembered what happened last night. He quickly moved to the side of the bed and dashed out of the bedroom. There was music in the living room. It was a strange tune and it was eerie. The woman in the living room was on the phone. The moment he opened the door, she looked over. He didn't know what she said, but she frowned. Sure, if he wants to sue, then let him. If he can't get I into jail, then I will beat him up. Shi Sheng hung up and stopped the man who was about to leave. Where are you going? The music combined with her voice was eerie. Chao Qing subconsciously stepped back and glared at Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng relaxed his expression. Are you hungry? What do you want? To use this method to bring him back to her house. Shi Sheng shrugged. To make it up to you. Chao Qing's face dropped and there was anger in her eyes. You remember who I am? Are you pitying me now? Feng. Shi Sheng paused. Don't you feel anything when you see me? Chao Qing's lips curled up mockingly. Do I want to kill you? You ruined me once and you want to ruin me a second time? Let me be clear. Du Yeyuan did it. Cheng. I was an accomplice. This was the original owner's fault. She wasn't going to take the blame. Chao Qing merely snickered, as if mocking her for being shameless. The two of them were at a stalemate. In the end, Shi Sheng stepped aside. Let's eat before you leave. No need. Chao Qing walked straight to the front door, put on her shoes, and left in a huff. Shi Sheng was worried about him, so he followed him from afar. He watched as he stood on the side of the road for a while. Perhaps because he realized he had no money, he gave up on the idea of getting a taxi and walked down the road. After about half an hour, he took out his phone to make a call. Shi Sheng calmly watched him get into a car. She followed the car all the way to a villa. The car dropped him off and Chao Qing went up to press the doorbell. Someone came out, cursed at him coldly, and closed the door. Chao Qing seemed to be used to this. She lowered her head and stood outside the villa. Chao Qing stood outside until the sun rose. Shi Sheng stayed in the car with him until the sun came up. It wasn't until the sun rose that he was let in. Shi Sheng rubbed his brows and drove away. After she left, Chao Qing, who was already inside the villa, walked out again. She looked in the direction Chao Qing left and struggled for a second. Then, she calmed down and went back inside. He hadn't eaten anything yesterday and stood outside all night. He still had nothing to eat. Chao Qing was so hungry that she had no energy left. The people inside the villa wouldn't leave food for him. He gritted his teeth and was about to endure when his phone rang. Hello, is this Mr. Chao? The food you ordered is here. Can you come out and get it? Food. Asterisk, he felt like he was about to enter a dark room. Chapter 1435. Chao Qing followed the call and went to a small path beside the villa. A young man was waiting there. Mr. Chao. Chao Qing nodded. The young man handed over the delicate-looking takeout box. Mr. Chao, enjoy your meal. Then, the young man walked away and disappeared from Chao Qing's sight. Chao Qing opened up the box. Almost every food inside was his favorite. Chao Qing held onto the box. The sun shone down from above and painted his face. Her cold limbs began to warm up. The news of Shi Shang hitting Jiang Su had spread like wildfire. Not only did Yuan Ruola's commercial get delayed, but the crew also wanted to talk to her. The director kept smoking with a frown on his face. He glanced at the calm Shi Shang opposite him and extinguished his cigarette. Ms. Cheng, can you be magnanimous and let the crew off? If this continues, how are we supposed to film? Didn't young Master Chen increase your investment? He did. But if you keep doing this, we won't be able to film. You're so close to young Master Chen. It's easy for you to make Ms. Yuan famous. Why do you have to come here and cause trouble for us? Young Master Chen was the biggest investor for God of Heaven. He didn't know how she got in touch with young Master Chen. The day she joined the crew, young Master Chen called him and emphasized that he was not to offend her. But when she joined the crew, she didn't let him add scenes for Yuan Ruola. He yelled at Yuan Ruola but she didn't react. It was as if she was here to cause trouble. Shi Shang shrugged innocently. I didn't want to cause trouble. They caused me trouble first. When have you ever seen me looking for trouble? The director. You don't normally cause trouble. But when you do, you make it to the headlines. Ms. Cheng, I'm begging you. Please stop. We've been delaying too much. We're rushing for next year's summer break. If we keep this up, when will we finish filming? If we can't make it, we can make it for the new year. The director. Director, young Master Chen has money. Don't be scared. Take your time. The director. The director and Shi Shang's negotiations were unsuccessful. Now that the man had support, what could he do? Take your time. After all, the man had money. It wasn't his money that was burning. The director started to give up on himself. The progress of Heavenly God was slow. Most of the scenes that could be filmed by the supporting characters were almost done, but the scenes for the main characters had not started yet. Shi Shang was busy with the lawsuit against Jiang Su. Of course, in the end, he only had to pay some money. After all, Jiang Su looked miserable, but in fact, it was not a big deal. After the lawsuit, Shi Shang went out and beat Jiang Su up again. I have the money, go ahead and sue me. I will hit you after I sue you. These were the exact words of the Shi Shang. Who told you to bully her daughter-in-law? Jiang Su had probably never met such a person before. He didn't know where Shi Shang's money came from. She didn't have any companies under her name, so it was impossible for him to deal with her financially. In the end, he could only give in temporarily and look for an opportunity to take revenge. The main cast finally joined the cast after the storm. Shi Shang's anti-fans were not optimistic. I'm Ma Xiaotiao. I keep feeling like something is going to happen. This is probably the most unsuccessful TV series I've ever filmed. I feel sorry for the director. Azure. Why hasn't she come online recently? Did she die? Lontian. She's busy beating people up. She doesn't have time to come online. Party representative. There are still Song Ye and Liang Jia who haven't been beaten up yet. Guess who's next? Liang Jia was the female lead who replaced Ku Pei-shin. She was an artist that Carnival Entertainment was promoting. The anti-fans were betting on who would be beaten up first. Shi Shang took Yuan Ruola to finish up with the commercial. Last time, they were almost done. There were just a few scenes that needed to be fixed. In the afternoon, Yuan Ruola had a scene with the male lead. So after they finished up with the commercial, they hurried back to the set. The moment they arrived, they noticed that the atmosphere was off. Everyone was holding their breaths. What's wrong? Yuan Ruola curiously looked around. Other than the fact that no one dared to make a sound, there was nothing strange. Shi Shang headed to the resting room. When he passed by Jiang Su's room, he saw the mess on the floor and frowned. Just then, Chao Qing came back with a bag. When she saw Shi Shang standing at the door, she froze for a second. Then, she quickly lowered her head and walked in. Before he could step in, a knife flew out. Shi Shang reacted quickly and grabbed onto Chao Qing. She pulled Chao Qing towards her. The knife slipped past them and fell to the ground. "Are you okay?" Shi Shang looked at Chao Qing nervously. Chao Qing didn't know why she was so nervous, but her heart skipped a beat. He frowned and distanced himself from her. His voice was cold and distant. "Ms. Cheng, there's no need for you to mind your own business." "Hey, Cheng Shi, why are you pulling my assistant's arm? Have you lost your mind thinking about men?" Jiang Su appeared at the door and stared at Shi Shang with his arms crossed. Shi Shang stuffed her phone into her pocket and pinched her wrist as she stared darkly at Jiang Su. "Do you still remember what I said?" Jiang Su's face changed color. That feeling of terror came again. His legs couldn't help but shake. He didn't want to shake, but he couldn't control himself. Chao Qing stepped in front of her. "Ms. Cheng, this has nothing to do with you. Mind your own business." Shi Shang looked into Chao Qing's eyes. Chao Qing merely stared back coldly. "Okay." Shi Shang grabbed a bag from Yuan Ruola and shoved it into his arms. "Remember to eat." She took Yuan Ruola back to the resting room. Chao Qing held onto the bag and didn't move for a long time. After Shi Shang left, Jiang Su seemed to have been rejuvenated. "Ah, you're pretty close to her." He took the bag from Chao Qing and opened it. "Pfft, she bought it for you even though it's specially provided by Fragrance House." Jiang Su purposely opened the box and dumped the contents onto the ground in front of Chao Qing. Didn't he care about Chao Qing? Then he would torture him. Jiang Su suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. He turned around and saw that there was no one behind him. Was he hallucinating? "What are you looking at? Go clean up." Jiang Su angrily threw the box onto the ground. Jiang Su had a bad temper, didn't gamble, and didn't do drugs. There was nothing bad about him. Therefore, Shi Shang climbed through Jiang Su's window in the middle of the night, tied him up, beat him up, and threw him out into the wilderness. The next day, the crew searched everywhere for Jiang Su. Shi Shang sat in the resting room and browsed through social media. Chao Qing walked in and stared at him. "Where's Jiang Su?" He didn't know why, but his instinct told him that Jiang Su's disappearance had something to do with her. "I threw it away." "Where did you throw it?" "I don't remember." Shi Shang slammed his phone onto the table and looked over to Chao Qing. "Are you going to sue me?" Chao Qing didn't answer. He turned around and left the resting room. In the afternoon, Jiang Su was found and ended up on the headlines. "Cheng Shi V, look for me if you're on the headlines. I'm a professional and I don't cheat anyone." "Tiny, am I the only one who thinks there's something wrong with that?" "Crazy, Cheng Shi, did you do what happened to Jiang Su?" "Cheng Shi V, am I that kind of person? I'm a decent person. If you don't have evidence, don't accuse me. Be careful or the police will come and have tea with you." Everyone. "Hee, you're a decent person?" She was definitely the one who did it. Chapter 1436. The first thing Jiang Su did was to call the police. Naturally, the police came to question Shi Shang. They had been in frequent contact with Shi Shang recently, so there was no need for introductions. The police came up and asked, "Mr. Jiang said that you jumped out of the window and hit him in the middle of the night. Did you do it?" Shi Shang bit into the popsicle that Yuan Ruola had given him. "Did you detect my fingerprints on the window?" The police shook his head. "Did the surveillance camera capture me?" He continued to shake his head. "Did anyone witness it?" He continued to shake his head. Shi Shang bit off a piece of ice. "That's right. There was nothing." Your suspicions are unreasonable. I want to sue Jiang-su for false accusation." The police were speechless. Where was his shame? Everyone who had dealt with her knew that she had crossed the bottom line of the law. However, they couldn't do anything to her if she didn't do anything. They were 90% sure that she was the one who did it. However, how did she do it? It required some skill and they couldn't find anything for now. Then how can you prove that you have nothing to do with this? Isn't there a surveillance camera? Shi Shang rolled his eyes. Check it yourself. You don't believe me anyway. The police were speechless. They couldn't find anything unusual in the surveillance camera. After the police left empty-handed, Shi Shang finished his popsicle. She looked at Yuan Ruola, who was still in a daze, and waved her hand in front of her. Come back to your senses. Yuan Ruola's ability to withstand stress had obviously improved recently. She winked at Shi Shang. Sister Cheng Shi. It was you, wasn't it? It must be you. Shi Shang raised her finger. Only the heavens and the earth know, you and I know. Yuan Ruola covered her mouth to show that she understood. Without evidence, even if Jiang-su knew that Shi Shang was the one who did it, he couldn't do anything to her. He could only curse her. Jiang-su was hit again. The director was frustrated. If this continued, when would they finish filming? He wanted to finish filming Yuan Ruola's scenes quickly and send this scourge away. Yuan Ruola didn't have many scenes, but she had to be in many scenes. Most of them were related to the main characters, so there was no way to start filming. By the time Jiang-su recovered from his injuries, autumn had already passed, and winter had arrived. There was a winter snow scene in the outdoor scene, so after the first snowfall, the director immediately asked the crew to prepare for the outdoor scene. The location was on a mountain more than 100 kilometers away from the city. There was no road up the mountain, so they could only climb up. Yuan Ruo had made a friend. At this time, she had abandoned Shi Shang and warmly went to help her friend. Shi Shang was left behind by himself. It was not easy to walk on the snowy mountain road. Shi Shang climbed for a while and then turned back. That strange feeling from before came back again. He pushed away that strange feeling. I don't dare to flatter Ms. Cheng. You don't need to bring me food every day. You don't need to help me teach Jiang-su a lesson. My business is none of your business. We're not compatible. Chao Qing didn't say those words out loud. She gave Shi Shang a long look and quickly went up the stairs to distance herself from him. When Shi Shang arrived at the top of the mountain, most of the people's rooms had been arranged. Yuan Ruola gave Shi Shang his room card. The temperature on the mountain was cold. Shi Shang felt like the heavens wanted her dead even though she was wrapped in a down jacket. Filming in such an environment was out of the question. Yuan Ruola had a scene where she wore thin clothes and knelt in the snow with the male lead. But it was this scene that Yuan Ruola never got through. Duya Yuan either forgot his lines or laughed at the scene. Yuan Ruola had to kneel in the snow for such a long time that even the people around them could not stand it. Yuan Ruola's pale face was originally made up. But now, she didn't need to. She was acting as herself. Kaka, Duya Yuan, what's wrong with you? The director was getting impatient. It was mainly because he saw Shi Shang walk over. Do you want her to end up in the hospital? I'm sorry, director. It's too cold and I'm not myself. Let's do it again. Duya Yuan apologized politely. He was tormenting Yuan Ruola. She was that woman's artist. Chapter 1437. Before Duya Yuan could finish, a pile of snow hit him directly in the face. There was water in the snow, and he was immediately drenched. The instigator, Shi Shang, was holding a bucket and looking at the director with one hand on his waist. Director, I think this scene will be more artistic if Mr. Du appears like this. What do you think? The snow soaked his clothes, and the cold air rushed into his body. Duya Yuan suddenly felt cold. Everyone took a few steps back. This manager was too awesome. Ahem. Miss Cheng, this is not very good. We are now filming the scene where the male lead is angry and teaches the female lead a lesson. This completely ruins the plot. The male lead was already drenched. Who would watch this scene? He is obviously torturing her. Are you blind? Shi Sheng suddenly said bluntly. The director almost knelt down in front of him. Madam, you have young Master Chen backing you, but he doesn't. Shi Sheng dropped the bucket and grabbed the coat next to him and threw it on Yuan Ruola. Director, I think Mr. Du is not in a good state. Why don't we let him meditate here? When he is done, we will start filming. Okay. Let's film the second male lead scenes first. Everyone, get ready. The director quickly agreed. The staff around them dispersed and prepared for the next scene. They recently found that the director was a little afraid of Cheng Shi. When she came to the set, she so blatantly occupied a break room, but the higher-ups asked them to arrange a new one. It was enough to prove that she had a strong backing. She was no longer the Cheng Shi who couldn't fight back. Du Yuyuan's assistants quickly surrounded him, wanting to take him away to change his clothes. However, Shi Sheng stopped them. I said to let Mr. Du ponder over it for a bit. When he's done, we'll shoot. Don't you guys understand? The assistants. Perhaps Shi Sheng's aura was too scary, as if he would beat someone up if they disagreed. They were a little afraid to speak and looked at Du Yuyuan. Du Yuyuan was shivering from the cold. Cheng Shi, you are crazy. Why should I listen to you? Shi Sheng snorted. Du Yuyuan, you have been with me for a while. Do you think I don't have something on you? You haven't experienced the feeling of falling from the altar yet, right? Would you like a deluxe set meal? Du Yuyuan, stand still. Du Yuyuan watched as Shi Sheng and Yuan Ruola left. He gritted his teeth so hard that they almost broke. She actually dared to threaten him. Damn it! Du Yuyuan was almost frozen into a fool, so the director asked him to go back quickly. The next day, Du Yuyuan and Yuan Ruola were both sick. Therefore, they could only film the scenes of the second male lead and the second female lead. Sister Cheng Shi, can you get me a glass of water? In the middle of the night, Yuan Ruo felt thirsty and had to call for Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng was still awake. The light from the phone screen reflected her face, making her look a little eerie in the dark room. Shi Sheng reached out to turn on the lights, but there was no response. He looked up at the air conditioner. He did not know when it had stopped working. Was there a power outage? She was lying in bed, but she didn't feel cold. She was so engrossed in her argument with the anti-fans that she didn't notice when the power went out. She turned on the flashlight and got off the bed to get some water. However, there was a power outage. The water in the water dispenser was cold. On such a cold day, Shi Sheng didn't dare to give Yuan Ruola cold water. He had to go out and ask if there was any hot water. The cold wind was blowing. Shi Sheng wrapped his clothes tightly around himself and went to find the store owner. I'm sorry, sir. We really don't have any left. We also have a power outage. Just now, Mr. Du and Ms. Liang sent someone to take away the last 2 bottles of hot water. From afar, he heard the store owner explain politely. Shi Sheng pushed open the door and walked in. The store owner looked over and said directly, "Ah, Ms. Cheng, you're here for hot water too? I'm so sorry. We don't even have hot water left." Shi Sheng's gaze went past the store owner and landed on the man across from him. Xiao Qing had been avoiding him these days as if he was going to eat him up. Shi Sheng retracted his gaze and looked over to the store owner. His voice was calm. "I have a patient. Can you get me a cup?" The store owner hesitated. Perhaps out of pity for the patient, he went to get the teapot and found a cup to pour Shi Sheng some water. "This is all we have left." "Thank you." Shi Sheng took over the cup. "I'll bring the cup back to you tomorrow." It's okay. Leave it in the room. I'll get someone to collect it." Shi Sheng's tone was pleasant. The store owner was a little surprised and quickly waved his hand. He knew this Ms. Cheng. She was famous for being fierce. Now that she was being so nice, he was a little scared. Shi Sheng glared at Chao Qing and reached out to grab her. Chao Qing dodged quickly and left the room with a cold face. The cold wind outside made it hard for Shi Sheng to keep his eyes open. He looked around and didn't see Chao Qing. He gave the water back to Yuan Ruola and then went out to find Chao Qing. He didn't look right just now and she was worried. Jiang Su lived down the hallway. Shi Sheng went over and didn't find Chao Qing. She walked around and finally found someone leaning against a wall in a corner. Chao Qing. Shi Sheng went up to support him. His body was boiling hot like a furnace. Chao Qing's consciousness was a little blurry, but he knew who was beside him. He would never forget her scent. With a cold face, Shi Sheng brought her back to her room. Yuan Ruola drank some water and felt a little more awake. When she saw Shi Sheng bring someone back, she sat up from the bed in shock. Why did you get up? You think you're not sick? Shi Sheng glared at her. Yuan Ruola quickly hid under her blanket. Her manager brought a man back. Yep, it was that Chao Qing. She seemed to have found out something big. Was she an eyesore if she stayed here? She was definitely an eyesore. The naive and sweet female lead got up and put on her clothes. Sister Cheng Shi, I'm going to sleep with Lingling. Shi Sheng frowned but didn't stop her. He asked her to put on her coat, hat, and scarf. After Yuan Ruola left the room, Shi Sheng began to take off Chao Qing's wet clothes and stuffed her under the blanket. Shi Sheng sat by the bed. In the dark, she could only see his silhouette. At first, Chao Qing felt hot. Then, she felt cold. It was so cold that his entire body shivered. But soon, there was a source of heat next to him. He instinctively hugged the source of heat. It was comfortable. It was peaceful. His consciousness was floating. Sometimes, he felt like he was awake but couldn't open his eyes. It was like there was an invisible hand that covered his eyelids. His body felt like it was being pressed down by something and he couldn't escape. Sometimes, he would have nightmares. One nightmare after another. In his dreams, monsters wanted to eat him and he couldn't run away. When the monsters caught up with him, he would enter the next nightmare. It was a never-ending cycle. Chao Qing suddenly opened her eyes. The restraints on her body seemed to have disappeared. All that was left was sweat. But he... What was he hugging? Chapter 1438. If I go, he's going to kill me. Yuan Ruola's lips twitched. You forced yourself on Mr. Chao? Something like that. Yuan Ruola silently raised her finger. My manager sure is amazing. She gave the medicine to Shi Sheng. You should go by yourself. Sister Cheng Shi, since you slept with him, you need to take responsibility. I want to take responsibility, but he won't let me. Shi Sheng sighed and stood up with the medicine. Remember to take your medicine. Yuan Ruola nodded like a rabbit. Go. When Shi Sheng found Chao Qing, he was cleaning up the mess Jiang Su made on the table. Jiang Su sat on the side and pointed at him. I asked you to ask for water last night, but you just disappeared. You've become bold, haven't you? I think you're the one with the guts. Shi Sheng picked Jiang Su up. Wasn't last time's lesson enough? Jiang Su was terrified when he saw Shi Sheng. But he was a man and he couldn't admit defeat. Cheng Shi, you're crazy. Let me go. Shi Sheng pushed him away. Get the F***ck out of here. Jiang Su. He glared at Chao Qing viciously and left in anger. Chao Qing didn't look up the entire time. She skillfully put everything into her suitcase. A hand came from the side and stopped him. What does he have on you? Jiang Su treated him like that and yet he didn't fight back. Shi Sheng didn't think he had any special feelings for Jiang Su. There were only two possibilities. He owed Jiang Su something, or Jiang Su had something on him. Based on her observation, this guy didn't owe Jiang Su anything. Sometimes, the way he looked at Jiang Su was dark. The only possibility was that Jiangsu had something on him that forced him to lower his head and endure the humiliation. Chao Qing didn't speak and looked down. Shi Shang supported himself with the table and followed her gaze. Chao Qing, you work for me now. Tell me, what does he have on you? No. Chao Qing looked away. Do you need something? Shi Shang took a deep breath and said, I'm here to give you some medicine. Chao Qing looked up and her gaze landed on her hand. Shi Shang took out the medicine and prepared it for him. Then, he poured him a glass of water. He hesitated for a moment before swallowing the medicine. All right, you can go now. Have you eaten? Chao Qing was silent again. If there was a disagreement, he wouldn't say a word. Shi Shang left for a while and came back with some food. He put it in front of him and said, Just eat. There's only this much food on the mountain. I'll take you to eat something delicious when we get down. Chao Qing peeked into the distance. Most people had gone to eat. Only a few people were chatting and no one was paying attention. He sat down in silence and opened the lunchbox. There were all kinds of dishes inside. This was not a staff meal. He held the chopsticks, his fingertips clenched so tightly that they turned slightly white. Why did he seem so weak in front of her? The weather seemed to be getting colder again. Shi Sheng didn't stay with him for long. She took a call and reminded him to take his medicine. Then, she left in a hurry. He heard that Yuan Ruola left with her as well. Chao Qing knew that whenever he did something, she would watch from afar. Now that she wasn't looking at him, he felt a little uncomfortable. The temperature on the mountain was getting colder and colder. There were still a few more scenes to shoot and she wasn't back yet. But what did it have to do with him whether she came back or not? Mr. Chao. Someone called out to him from behind. Chao Qing stopped and turned around to look at the person who called him. He frowned. Ms. Song, what's up? It was the second female lead of this movie, Song Ye. Song Ye was almost 30 years old, but she looked like a young lady in her early 20s. Her skin was soft and she had a smile on her face. She gave off a friendly vibe. Mr. Chao, it's a waste of your talent to be Jiang Su's assistant. Are you interested in working for me? Chao Qing glanced over Song Ye. Not interested. Song Ye giggled. Don't be so quick to reject me. Mr. Chao, I'm offering you more than Jiang Su. I'm sorry, Ms. Song. I'm not interested. Chao Qing turned around to leave. Song Ye frowned and felt angry at being rejected. She quickly chased after Chao Qing and blocked his way with her body. Chao Qing, you slept with Cheng Shi. Why are you pretending to be nice to me? Name a price. If you work for me, I can guarantee you a life of luxury. Not interested. Chao Qing's tone was flat. Chao Qing, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Song Ye was furious. Not only did this man have a great body, but he also had good looks. No wonder Cheng Shi wanted him. Sadly, she had to take everything Cheng Shi wanted. Ms. Song, I'm not here to sell myself. Please move aside. Chao Qing was calm when she said this. It didn't seem like she was trying to humiliate her. How much did Cheng Shi pay you? How much did she pay you? I'll pay you double. How about that? Song Ye lifted her chin. You can't afford what she gave me. Chao Qing was getting impatient. She glanced around and walked in that direction. Ms. Song, if you need help, you can call a man from outside. Chao Qing. Song Ye stomped her feet in anger. How dare this man reject her? What's so good about that ugly Cheng Shi? Song Ye, you like me as your assistant? Song Ye's ferocious expression disappeared and she looked over to the source of the voice. Jiang Su was still in his costume. He walked out from the corner of the corridor and stared at her with evil intentions. I'll give you a chance. How about that? Jiang Su continued. You. Song Ye narrowed her eyes. Why would you help me? You have a grudge against Cheng Shi. Naturally, I have a grudge against her. If she wants something, it's better to destroy it. He couldn't beat her and he couldn't get hold of her weakness. but he could control Chao Qing. "How can you help me?" Jiang Su smiled sinisterly and took out a room card from his sleeve. "Come to this room tonight. I'll help you get what you want." Hashtag movie queen Song Ye and popular young man Jiang Su have a deep conversation in their room late at night. Are they sleeping with each other, or are they both willing? Hashtag this news shocked the entertainment industry early in the morning. Hashtag something happened to God. Again hashtag this year's busiest crew hashtag waiting for something to happen to Liang Jia hashtag the above comments were made by Shishang's anti-fans. The people involved in this incident were all dumbfounded. Jiang Su told Chao Qing to go to his room and he drugged her. How did he end up sleeping with Song Ye? How could news like this? Song Ye was even more furious. Though Jiang Su was handsome, he wasn't her cup of tea. Sleeping with someone like him made her feel uncomfortable. But that wasn't the main point. The main point was the news. Song Ye didn't remember how Jiang Su got into her room. She did what Jiang Su told her to do and then she fell asleep. Then someone woke her up. What happened after that was all that happened. The room was too dark so she couldn't tell who it was. Asterisk, this is a fake group. Little Fairy, love is love, hate is hate. As long as you're safe, the sky is clear. Cherub, speak the human language. Little Fairy, I really like tickets. If you love me, then give them to me. Cherub, if you update, they're all yours. Little Fairy, the moon is so beautiful today. Cherub, you don't have a partner. What's so beautiful about that? Hurry up and update. System notification. Little Fairy has left the group. You can use an item to retrieve her. 05201314. System. Fake tickets. Identification complete. Chapter 1439. Inside Shishang's room. Chao Qing was lying on her side with her phone in her hand. She scrolled through the news. His eyes were a little empty and he didn't even look at the screen. Last night, Jiang Su suddenly asked him to go to that room to get something. Halfway there, he was robbed. What happened after that was a little blurry. However, he remembered what happened between them. He saw the news when he woke up this morning. If he still didn't know what happened, then he was hopelessly stupid. Chao Qing put down her phone, pushed away the hand that was on his body, and got off the bed. Where are you going? Chao Qing's body froze and her voice was a little hoarse. The bathroom. She let go of his hand and he went to the bathroom to wash his face. After a while, he came out. Shishang was still in the same position as before. However, he had opened his eyes and was staring at him. Chao Qing was tired. He walked back to the bed and lied down. He comforted himself that they had slept together so there was nothing to be embarrassed about. Shishang grabbed onto his hand and placed himself in the crook of his arm. Then he laid on his chest. How about I go kill Jiang Su? Chao Qing almost threw him out. Why was he talking about this so early in the morning? Shouldn't they talk about what happened last night? No need. This is my problem. I will solve it. Chao Qing calmed down. You are not allowed to get involved in my business. If you don't want me to get involved, then you have to be with me. Change your condition. Shishang hissed. No. If you don't agree, then I will go kill him right now. After all, we are in the middle of nowhere. I can toss him anywhere. If you don't want to be with me, then I will kill someone right in front of you. Chao Qing was frightened by Shishang's cruelty. To him, this was a society governed by law and killing was illegal. So he was forced to agree. He was forced. The room was silent for a while. Chao Qing couldn't help but ask, how did you come back so early last night? Shishang acted like a psychic. Do you believe me? Telepathy. Chao Qing's face said, I don't believe you. He pushed Shishang out. Don't let anyone know that we are together. Why? Shishang was displeased. She couldn't wait for the whole world to know that this guy belonged to her. Now, She had to have a secret relationship? There's no why. I just don't allow it. Or else everything I said just now won't count. Chao Qing leaned towards the Shi Shang and covered her with her body. Promise me. You're so annoying. Shi Shang turned his head away, neither agreeing nor disagreeing. Chao Qing took that as a yes and began to put on her clothes. The matter between Song Ye and Jiang Su was too big, so they had to admit that they were dating. If it was just a one-night stand, it would not be good for their careers. They could announce their relationship now and break up after a few months. Therefore, the two of them were forced to be tied together. Some fans were optimistic, while others were not. In any case, there were all kinds of opinions. This matter hadn't yet died down when news of Song Ye getting beaten up spread. And the one who did it was Shi Shang. Song Ye had just finished filming a scene and Shi Shang was standing outside the set. When Song Ye walked over, Shi Shang suddenly attacked her. If it weren't for the fact that there were a lot of people in the theater and they were able to stop the fight quickly, Song Ye would have been beaten up even more. Hashtag all the celebrities who were beaten up by Cheng Shi back in the day. Hashtag the director's psychological trauma. Hashtag all we need is Liang Jia to have all the stars in the cast. Go Cheng Shi. Hashtag Liang Jia V. Liang Jia responded to Shi Shang's anti-fans with 6 points. She and Shi Shang had no history and had never interacted with each other. Why would she be beaten up? Perhaps she was truly afraid that she would be implicated. Other than filming, Liang Jia never showed her face. If Shi Shang was around, she would have avoided him. She couldn't afford to offend him, so why couldn't she avoid him? After filming the scene on the mountain, she had to go to another location. However, since Yuan Ruo wasn't involved, Shi Shang didn't take her with him. Jiang Su had scenes to film, so Chao Qing went with him. Shi Shang didn't understand why Chao Qing wanted to go with Jiang Su. Since he couldn't figure it out, Shi Shang beat up Jiang Su again and threatened him in a friendly manner. After that, Jiang Su behaved himself. Other than verbally attacking Chao Qing, Shi Shang didn't ask him to do anything else. He even hired a new assistant. It was almost the end of the year and Shi Shang gave Yuan Ruo a break. Sister Cheng Shi, what are you going to do? Yuan Ruo packed up her stuff and asked Shi Shang, who was playing with his phone. I'm going to find Chao Qing. Huh? Yuan Ruo put down her stuff and ran to Shi Shang. Sister Cheng Shi, are you going to send him from 1,000 miles away? Shi Shang. Send him from 1,000 miles away? Sister Cheng Shi, why don't you get Mr. Chao to stay by your side? I heard he studied acting. Why don't you help him? Even if I want to help him, he has to be willing. Shi Shang rolled her eyes. Don't meddle in my business. Eat less when you get back. Once Igor's advertisement is released, I'll get you a new role. Once you're a ball, I'll only be able to take over your role. Ball? What kind of description was that? She could eat until she became a ball during Chinese New Year? Was she a pig? Even a pig can't eat until she becomes a ball during Chinese New Year. Sister Cheng Shi, I don't get fat no matter how much I eat, okay? Yuan Ruo retorted. Then she asked curiously, what new role? How would I know? Yuan Ruo, aren't you my manager? Hashtag I have a fake manager. Hashtag Shi Shang drove Yuan Ruo to the airport. Don't talk nonsense with people you don't know. If you see anyone strange, call the police. Don't call me. I'm thousands of miles away from you. I can't save you. Yuan Ruo, she suddenly realized that when her manager talked too much, it was quite scary. Yuan Ruo quickly said goodbye to Shi Shang. She should go home and raise pigs. Something didn't seem right. The crew was currently in Guqiao City. This was a film studio and there were all kinds of crew members. It wasn't a dream to run into a superstar. Because the tourism industry had opened up and it was Chinese New Year, a lot of people were traveling. There were also fans from all walks of life. The traffic was completely blocked. Shi Shang pressed the horn in annoyance after being stuck in traffic by fans twice. What are you honking for? So what if you have a car? A young man in the crowd shouted. Shi Shang stuck his head out of the car and glared at the person who spoke. This is the traffic lane. You're in the right to block the road? Are you that shameless? What's wrong with the traffic lane? Will you die if you go there? If you really can't, you can take a detour. Why are you shouting at us? That's right. We came all the way here to see our idol. Do you think we should give way to you? Shi Shang's temper rose. You'll die if you go there later. If you continue to block the road, I will hit someone. Damn it. Was the division of the sidewalk and the traffic lane for decoration? Go ahead. There are so many people here. Why don't you show us? Before Shi Shang hit them, he asked, which family are you fans of? You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.